You're listening to the Club Scene Podcast, powered by Energia, with Ger Burke, Darragh Frawley and Maurice Hartery.
Tough day on Saturday.
It is so relentless.
We've been involved in rugby over the years.
Will it get a suit?
No, I think it's bad form.
They'll be fine.
Clueless.
Oh God, this is going to be the day where it's all over. Second.
And all that's left will be the lion's share.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome along to the Club Scene Podcast, focusing on all things Energia AIL and club rugby in general. On this week's pod, we'll be reviewing the round 15 games from last weekend, as well as looking ahead to the round 16 games. As champions are crowned and fates are sealed, we'll be speaking to Garryowen duo Willie Staunton and Shane O'Brien about all things Dora Doyle this season, and we'll have our Ace of Clubs update in association with Cala Pearl. And normal order has resumed in the host section with some shocking results. And as always, we'll have the usual hot takes, poor predictions, and slightly above average humour. But before we get to that, I would like to introduce my co-hosts. It's Cheltenham week, which brings back fond memories of this man's stag, where he was dressed as a jockey who ended up riding a sensational 19-year-old mare. That's a female horse, in case you were wondering, and he qualifies for that category. He's only 55 kilograms himself, dubbed under 20s most improved player 2007, and our favourite thing in the wing, Mr. Maurice Hartery. Any tips for Cheltenham?
That was actually Aintree that I went to for my stag, so that was absolutely terrible.
Yeah, the look of worry on your face.
We weren't invited, so we wouldn't know.
Speaking of horses, this man can be seen at various markets in the Munster region with a trailer full of Shetland ponies, power tools and Canada Goose jackets for sale at very reasonable prices. Berkiesbargains.ie for more cash only, and make sure you lock your shed at night in Crosshaven. The self-proclaimed show favourite, Mr. Ger Burke. I purposely didn't mention anything about rugby with a school's final to come next week. How is the big man getting on?
I'm good. I'm very good, Faz. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. We were just speaking off air there about Maurice's tips from Cheltenham, which is the reason myself or yourself can't afford a mortgage at the moment, Berkey. But if anyone
he
does
gave me a list one year. In fairness, I knew nothing. Said what he'd done. He said, "Look, this is what I'm doing," and I'm not joking. I don't think we won a race, Matt.
No, they're probably still running, in fairness. You probably ate one of them in a burger or something down the line.
Oh yeah, do you know what I mean? It wouldn't surprise me. Like, you're talking about every race for every day.
28
the law
races.
of averages would say you'd place at least two, but not a euro did we win.
Please make sure.
We had a good time, though.
Great weekend for Barnhall and Galwegians. Many congratulations to them. Yes. What a week to be on a rollover as well. Cheltenham starting tomorrow. Be brave enough if you're on the piss from Saturday to Tuesday. But if you are gambling at Cheltenham, make sure you do so responsibly. So where you'll find us on email, theclubscenepod@gmail.com, on X, Instagram, TikTok and YouTube, The Club Scene Podcast. We're on all good podcast apps and we're on iTunes, so be sure to leave a rating and subscribe to us. As always, we are once again delighted to say that this season's podcast is powered by Energia. Make sure to follow at Energia Ireland on Instagram and TikTok for more details. Energia has a great new offer for Club Scene Podcast listeners. Switch to Energia for your home energy and you could save up to €666 a year. Plus, you get €100 cash back. It's a win-win. Offer is available for a limited time. T's and C's apply. That's energia.ie/rugby smart offer. In round 15 of Division 1A of the Energia All-Ireland League, Ballynahinch had a terrific 28 points to 26 win over Constitution in Ballymacarn Park. Clontarf and Old Belvedere shared 105 points in Castle Avenue, 54 points to 51. The defending champions emerged victorious in an unbelievable game. Lansdowne continued their sensational form and are firmly in the hunt for the playoffs at 31 points to 13 win over your Munsters on the Aviva Stadium back pitch. Terenure College got back-to-back bonus point wins, this time on the road, 40 points to 31 against Nina in New Ormond Park. And St. Mary's College, for the second week in a row, scored over 50 points, this time at home to their city rivals UCD, 59 points to 12 in Templeville Road. Berkey, there is spring in the air, the evenings are brighter. Saturday was an absolutely phenomenal day of Energia All-Ireland League Rugby. We will start in Ballymacarn Park. Conor Rankin with a brace, Aaron Sexton and Daniel Bennett securing the bonus point for Adam Craig's men. Dan Punt, Sean Condon, Adam Maher and Michael Cogan with a 4 try, meaning that Cork Constitution pick up 2 match points on the day. A difficult afternoon for Cork on. Serious resilience shown after a heavy defeat against St. Mary's. Full credit to Ballynahinch with the 5 points. Con 4 points outside the playoffs behind Lansdowne. Ballynahinch 9 points behind, but and another unbelievable game in Division 1A of the Energia All-Ireland League.
Yeah, I don't think difficult is the word I described it as. That both clubs had a very, very poor week the week before. Results, performances, just shipping 50 is just not acceptable for two clubs such as ourselves and Hinch. So there was a bit of soul searching on in both clubhouses, I'd imagine, during the week, and both sides came out to rectify it. Unfortunately, only one can. It was a great game. Two sides really went at it. It was very, very physical and confrontational, as you'd expect. 14-0 to Con, 14 all, 21-14 to Con, 21 all. Con spent a period of time down in the Ballynahinch 22, and this is the defining period of the game for me. They just defended heroically and stood up to the test and kept us out. I went down the other end, got their shot, and went 28-21 up. In fairness to ourselves, we got back down there. A couple of chances eventually got over, 28-26, and had two long-range penalties to win it. But unfortunately, we didn't in the end. But a great game of rugby, and just, small margins. In fairness to Hinch, credit where credit's due. They stood up for that D block when it counted.
Yeah, indeed. As we said, the win means that Ballynahinch moved to 38 points. They are 9 behind Lansdowne, who are in 4th on 47. Cork Constitution 4 points behind Lansdowne with 3 games to go. Clontarf were 54 points to 51 winners over Old Belvedere in Castle Avenue in an absolutely outrageous game, struggling to even come to words to describe it. Dylan Donlan with a brace, Peter Maher with a hat-trick, Jordan Coughlin, Ivan Soroka, and a penalty try for Andy Wood's men. Con Kelly kicking 6 conversions off the tee. Ronan O'Sullivan, Morgan Meredith, Jaden Beckett, Hugh Redden, Jack Keating, and Hugh O'Sullivan, the try scores for Quinton O'Neill's men. I was actually at this game with a group of Americans we had on tour, and France and Scotland was 50-40, and this was 54-51. There was a reunion of the 2016 winning Clontarf team, Joey Carberry's year, that were there. And let me tell you that there were shit-the-pants moments for Clontarf in the game. I know they came out winners, they won't mind me saying that. Raced into a lead against Belvedere after Belvedere had 3 early penalties. Morgan Meredith kicking very well off the tee. Tarf had a number of players that were absolutely outstanding. Pack absolutely enormous. Seeing them up front in the flesh and at ground level. Peter Maher with a hat-trick. Hugo Lennox, Dylan O'Grady, Conor Fahey, Tyke Bird, just excellent in the back line. Tarf led 35-16 at half time. Almost certainly went to 42-16. And then Belvedere started throwing the ball around, and it was like watching Toulouse play. Gets to 54-51, and there's a penalty given. Belvedere, obviously, with their tails up, decide not to take the 3 to make it a draw, go to the corner. They're agonizingly short.
How kickable?
Oh, it's it's a guaranteed 3. With the form Meredith was in, it's a guaranteed 3. But when you come from 42-16 down, you want to party with five points. Both sides would have got 3 points from that, but Belvedere got held up.
In fairness, I don't think 3 points was much good to Belvedere. Really,
no, it wasn't. It wasn't. But
they already had 2 in the bag. Like.
Yeah.
In the end, they get held up from the maul. A couple of phases goes out, and then it's a turnover in favour of Tarf, but 105 points scored. One of the most miraculous games I've seen. And both sides can be hugely buoyed by their ability to score points in attack. I'm not sure that the defence coaches will have much to do in the Tuesday session. In terms of video, they'll have plenty to do as work-ons, but I don't see that. I don't ever remember a game as high-scoring and as close as that, lads, if you do.
No.
Oh, Jesus, no.
No, nowhere near.
That's
not in 1A.
remarkable.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's not 1A. But just go to neutral lad here a moment. Like we speak, I know we're harping on you, and you're saying for this week in week out, oh, where else would you get that entertainment for tenner? All jokes aside, like these games are enthralling. That's as good as anything you're going to see in the URC in any given game. That's just can't. We keep trying to push this any further to get out and watch games at the weekend, and if your team's not if your team's playing away and you can't get to another game as a neutral, go to another division, watch another game, because there's just the quality of rugby being played across the country is off the charts, and that just embodies every part of it. And just to back up what we were talking about last week, Belvo belong in 1A, and they're going to be a force next year.
Yeah, they were phenomenal. I think they must have heard that Ballyclare and Bective thought they were playing in Pro D2 with the 45-42 game last week, so they bettered them with 54 points to 51. So Clontarf with that, excuse me, with that win means that they're sitting in second place, 1 point behind St. Mary's College. Old Belvedere picking up 2 match points with 4 tries scored and within 7. They dropped to 8th after Ballyninch's win on 36 points. They're 15 points ahead of UCD. 1 match point for the next 3 games will guarantee their survival in Division 1A. Survival is even the wrong word. That's disrespectful. They've been absolutely outstanding. But they are, as Berkey said, here to stay in Division 1A and will be a force to be reckoned with from here on in. Lansdowne were 31 points to 13 winners over Young Munster on the Aviva Stadium back pitch. Bobby Sheehan with the brace, Jack Matthews, Barry Fitzpatrick, and James Tarrant with the 6th try for Declan Fassbender's men, Steve Madigan with 3 conversions. Captain Alan Kennedy with the sole try for Young Munsters, Shane O'Leary with a conversion and 2 penalties. 14 points to 10 at halftime. Lansdowne led. Berkey, pretty perfect day for rugby on Saturday afternoon. One that got away from Young Munsters is one of the captions that was up on their Instagram. But Lansdowne slowly but surely going about their business. 9 wins out of 15 games. Another bonus point win after a bonus point win previously in the previous game against Nina. Cookies will be bitterly disappointed. A little bit of ground to make up 7 points, not beyond the realms of possibility. But Lansdowne full value for the win, and they will really fancy themselves to make it to the playoffs and even further.
Yeah, absolutely. Like as I said to you, league tables don't lie, and certainly top 4s don't. And I would say, without a shadow of a doubt, someone involved in the league this year, that top 4 is fair and fully reflective of the league thus far. You know, teams outside it like Luke Condon have been too inconsistent, and you know, Cookies is bizarre. Like they were feeling grieved in Con coming out the wrong side of a traditional local derby. They put 600 points then up at home the following week, and then tough loss last week. But yeah, that's a comprehensive win for Lansdowne. Like you know, don't get me wrong, Lansdowne are always favourites for me at home on the 4G, regardless who they play. But I did think it would be closer. No, I didn't see the Cookies squad or team sheet or who they had or hadn't, but maybe they hadn't as many players released this week as they had in weeks gone by. But I did think it would be closer than that.
Yeah, fair point. So Lansdowne, with that comprehensive win, mean that they sit in 4th position on 47 points, a point behind Terranure College. 11 behind Clontarf in second. Young Munsters dropped to 6th on 40 points, 7 points behind Lansdowne with 3 games to go. Terranure College, as we said, had a bonus point win on the road. Their second in succession, 40 points to 31 against Nina Ormond in New Ormond Park. Patrick Scully and David Leeson with 2 tries each for Nina. Jake O'Kelly on the try scoring sheet as well. Conor McMahon kicked 3 conversions. Terranure tries through Harry O'Neill, Aaron Egan, Casper Gabriel, Marcus Hannon, Will Hickey and Pa Ryan. Chris Cosgrove kicked 5 conversions. Nina Berkey will play their rugby in Division 1B next season. That officially confirmed after the weekend. They were drawing 19 points apiece against Terranure College. Just a word on them. It's been a team that they've been absolutely brilliant at stages this season, a bridge too far, but they've a lot of pride as a club. They were beaten in a Donald Walsh under 21 final. A lot of good things happening and a very difficult season, but in patches they've certainly been a match for teams over the course of the season.
Yeah, I just think they're hurting now, but context is everything. They've smashed an awful lot of records and ceilings and barriers the last couple of years. First team from Tipperary to be in Division 1A, top 10 teams in the country. They won their first ever senior cup last year. They have a group of local lads playing under 20 rugby that we've gotten to Donald Walsh final for the first time this year. So signs are positive for the future. But there's a reality of what Division 1A is, and it's just grueling and it's relentless. And the biggest thing about 1A, and I'm seeing it myself in Con this year, it's squad size. You know, it is squad size. And for a team, Nina, that I suppose are sitting 45 minutes outside Limerick City in Tipperary. That's probably what caught them. It was just you need squad size, and it's when your first year or two up, you need a bit of luck. And I don't think they probably didn't have the big enough squad, and they certainly didn't seem to get any drop of luck so far this year. But they won't be. There'll be no pushovers for the rest of the season. They won't roll over. That's not who they are. I still think nothing but respect for what they've done out there for the last couple of seasons, and you know it's easy for others to maybe say, "Oh, look, be careful with Joshua," but they had a crack. You know what I mean? They dared to dream, and fair play to them. And I would back them to get back there again with, and that time, and the second time around with a lot more experience and knowledge of what it takes.
Yeah, very valid points and well said. Just on Terranure, 10 points from the last two games, so maximum points. As it stands, they would currently play Clontarf in a semi-final. What a semi-final that would be in another storied chapter in their history. But they're ticking on along nicely. Bonus point win on the road, as we said, and a bonus point at home. They face into 3 home games as a result of Lakelands being redeveloped. They're in a rich vein of form, having obviously the departure of Carla Spencer to contend with, but it seems to be in the rearview mirror very quickly.
Yeah, you got to admire the fact that they were brave enough to accept that at the start of the year, knowing that it would be pay dividends coming into this time of the year, I suppose. But not that they need it. They're in an outrageous run of form. Uh, they're, as we spoke about, they're controlling what they can control, and that's on the field stuff. The Carter Spencer saga is over. It's time to just plow ahead, and kudos to all involved there. It's heads down, and they're the informed team. They're the dangerous outfit, and again, it'd be a great bet for to lift the title. I think Mary's, Tarf, Lansdowne, they're all flying really. To be fair to them.
Indeed they are. Anyone giving odds as well, please do let us know. We'd love to gamble responsibly. St. Mary's College were 59 points to 12 winners over UCD in Templeville Road. Rory Shields with a brace, Rob Gilsenan, Richie Bergen also scoring 2 tries, Zach Hopkins, Dan Goggin, Connor Dean and Michael Sylvest completing the scoring from Mark McHugh's men. Mick O'Gara with 7 conversions. Mark Caniff.
Would I be right in saying that confirms UCD in 9th?
One more point.
Well, their points difference is so bad. I'm just more or less, yeah.
You are correct, though, Morris. Straight in there with the statistics. Excuse me. Mark Caniff and Daniel Hurley, the try scores for UCD. Berkey, we spoke about Mary's last week. They've scored 116 points in 2 games against Con and UCD, respectively. They are top of the table. Their points for is 450. Their points against is 241. They are quite the outfit, but there just seems to be something more to them this year than there was last year. Granted, they came from Division 1B, but they're absolutely relentless on both sides of the ball, and UCD felt the full force of that last Saturday.
Yeah, kind of relieved to see that they hit 59 again. It wasn't just us. I said it last week, couldn't compliment them enough. Like it's the speed at which they play, the intensity at which their intent is to just play at 100 miles an hour on both sides of the ball. And if you're not on it, you feel their activists. And I know exactly how UCD feel because it was us the week before. We weren't on it, and it's a long day. They take no prisoners. They're a lovely team to watch if you're a neutral or a Mary supporter when they're on it. Not so much when you're the opposition coach or fan. But again, I said they're motoring. They're sitting top of the table and deservedly so. And they seem to a group that they were very tight knit last year, and they seem to life in Mary's was everything was ticking on. But I think they've even gotten even closer again this year. They just look like a group of. There's a lot of cohesion. There's a lot of familiarity. They seem to know each other inside out. I think they're enjoying life from Division 1A.
Yeah, fair comment. Just a word on UCD, Emma McMahon. Difficult season to date. Just cast your mind back to the Lansdowne, the double over Lansdowne, that they have the ability to pull out unbelievable performances, particularly in Belfield. They'd be bitterly disappointed, as Mara said. It looks, for all intents and purposes, like they will be in the playoff. The relegation playoff against the team in.
Yeah, I think you're seeing, like, if you look at Belvo when they weren't winning, they were still playing very well and coming up with a result here or there. When you string a couple of them together, you just go from your confidence grows. And all of a sudden, like you look at Belleville 54-51 away to Tarf. But that's on the back of them beating Cookies, beating Con, like having a couple of results. And I just think UC probably never got the run of wins together to kind of get them there. But, how many times they were thereabouts. Like, there's no denying the talent in UCD. Like, their 20s are always fantastic. But they're struggling for probably consistency is the way I put it. Or even
I
just
suppose
they run a couple of games.
Yeah, one way of putting it is, right, they've lost 11 games, which obviously isn't ideal. They've one losing bonus point. I mean, if you're losing games, one losing bonus point, let's be honest about it, is just not good enough, is it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair point, Mass. And I think probably they'll be disappointed with that. Like, 59, 12, it was a 59-12, that's not representative of the quality in UCD at all. Like, but they'll know that more than anyone. They won't need 3 fucking Egypts from Limerick to be commented on it.
No, fair comment. So that is round 15 review from Division 1A of the Energia All-Ireland League. The league is on a break for the week, but it will return on Saturday, March 21st. Moss, can you give us an Ace of Clubs update on our game of the week after I give you the games for Saturday, March 21st? Cork Constitution welcome Nina Ormond to Temple Hill. Old Belvedere and St Mary's College clash in Ollie Campbell Park. Terranure College and Lansdowne 3rd v 4th in Lakelands Park. UCD Ballynahinch in Belfield, and Young Munsters welcome Clontarf to Tom Clifford Park.
Yeah, so this week we had a massive logjam in 3rd place again. I'll call them out because you gave out to me last week for not doing it. On 22, Kevin O'Flaherty, Nina, Liam Toohey, Wonders, Evan O'Connell, Sunday as well, Tim McNeese, Armagh, Garrett Beggs, Armagh, Barry Traynor, Greystone, Sam Cawley, Barnhall, and Jamie Coolkin, St. Mary's.
Coolican, a good man.
Then on 2nd place for the week, Alex Duff on 23. And this week's winner was Josh Sheehan from Garryowen RFC.
I know Josh Sheehan.
Yeah, that's the first one that time.
Former
Garryowen
RFC.
Yeah, has popped up.
Controversial.
Regulation 6.
Liam Toohey of Wanderers actually as well is also his nickname is Bob. No one knows why, but it is. And he is formerly of Cork Con. FC.
Okay, there you go now. So the host then, I had 17, believe it or not. Berkey, you had 13, which you predicted. You said you were worried on Saturday after you saw the results, but you still beat Frawley, who had 12.
I might
return.
Yeah, it was.
There was came on the wrong side of a lot of close games. Though.
Yeah. Well, I obviously did as well. But Colin O'Donnell was in touch. A stat that jumped out for him after this week's fixtures. The 12 games selected for Ace Clubs, 10 were 1-score margins, with 8 of those having teams winning by 3 points or fewer. Incredibly tight around the league. Mars Hartree said in the WhatsApp group earlier, "You're welcome, everyone. I'm very good at picking games. I'm fucking terrible at picking winners."
Yeah, that's true.
Colin, if you want to come on and just do the Ace Clubs in place of Morris, there's absolutely no problem.
So what that leaves overall, I suppose, because there's only 3 weeks left, I'll give to people who are within 10 points of the lead, maybe. No, I'll give to top 10. So we've Matthew Henry from Ate in 256 points. Nick Quirk and Greystones in 9th, 257. We've tied 7th, Sam and Sam from Barnhall, Connor Nesbitt from UL Bowes, 259. Rory Gleeson, 6th, 260 from Cavan. I was slagging him, they didn't like it. Paul Rick from Bowes, 262. Nippy Kinsella from Terranure, love that Nippy, 263. Dean Fanning from Garryowen, 265. Colin O'Donnell, Homeless, 268. And Ruan McDonald still leads the way from Monkstown on 270. It's getting tight there for Ruan, though. So the host then, I start the bottom. I'm in the top 100 somehow, miraculously, maybe because everyone has stopped doing it now that they can't win. I'm up to literally spot on 102.15. Frawley, you're 65th on 232, and Berkey 48th on 238.
Devastating. I'm after slipping 18 places.
Yeah.
Brutal.
I think as well, Morris, you should personally have to present Ruan McDonnell if he does manage to win it after he properly mugged you off in the middle of my Ross.
Well, look, all I'm saying is his lead is slipping, and so is Monkstone's grip on 4th place and 2C. So
fighting
we'll see how
tough
that goes.
in Division
There's many
1A.
fellas who walk into the middle of my Ross and take the piss out of you, Morris.
Yeah, the games of the week in Ace Clubs for Saturday, March 21st. Look how organised we are on the 9th of March doing this.
Yeah, just because imagine dealing with Berkey next week, now cup week, final week, he'd be stressed out of his eyeballs, so we'll just leave him off this week.
You wouldn't know anything about it, man.
That's Jerry, that is a fact. The game of the week I picked is Terranure Lansdowne, and then I picked Young Munsters Clontarf. You'd imagine this is Young Munsters' last chance saloon. And I picked Belvedere Mary's. Why did I pick that one now? There must be some method in my madness.
3 draws,
Anyway.
Berkey?
I'm saying nothing false.
Yeah, exactly. Say nothing. Great book as well, Patrick Radden Keefe on the Troubles. If Berkey is actually in the forward. Right, Belvedere Mary's going to be a cracking game. Mary's been in scintillating, sensational form. You tend to run out of superlatives. I had a last mind everything I have in my bank account if I said Old Belvedere would have scored 51 points and lost the game last week. So I think Old Belvedere will be very, very close to Mary's, but Mary's to win that. Terranure College and Lansdowne is, again, 3rd v 4th. What a game that's going to be. Worth noting as well, Lansdowne did have Cormac Foley. Cormac Foley, the night of the roadshow, Berkey. Great man to down a point, great stories in with Leinster. They're a different team when he's playing. I think Terranure at home might have a slight advantage there, but that's 50-50. And then Young Munsters against Clontarf. Traditionally, this game has always thrown a spanner in the works in Greenfields. A lot will depend on the team sheet that Young Munsters have with Munster in South Africa. Clontarf, it's just an absolute powerhouse. I think, Moss, as you said, Young Munster's last chance, if they don't get a win, that means they're not in the top 4. Very, very close, but I think Clontarf will have too much for the cookies in 2 weeks' time. Moss, who are you taking between Old Belvedere and St. Mary's?
Look, you'd have to go with Mary's. They're in absolutely unbelievable form. Pretty much a home semi-final sewn up. You'd have to go with Mary's. There's just something. It's 2 weeks out now, so bear with me. There's just something gnawing at me that we might see an upset there. I don't know why, but I'm going to pick Mary's for the time being. Terranure Lansdowne, 2 sides banging form. Lansdowne 15 from last 15. Terranure 16 from the last 20. You'd imagine the fact that Terranure have the last 3 games at home will stand to them. I'm going to pick Muir at home. And what you alluded to, I think Young Munsters Frawley are going to be hit reasonably hard, unfortunately for them, with Munster going to South Africa. I think they'll probably lose a lot of players. Well, certainly a handful. So on that basis, I'm picking Tarf.
Yeah, will be very interesting. Lansdowne's last 3 are Terranure, Clontarf, Corcan. There is life in the top 4 race yet, and whoever gets there will thoroughly deserve it. As Berkey says, the league table does not lie. That is our review and preview of Division 1A of the Energia All-Ireland League. If you're listening to this now, it is the week of the 9th of March. There is no Energia All-Ireland League rugby on St. Patrick's weekend, the 14th, the last weekend of the Six Nations. These games are on the 21st of March, so your Ace clubs, if you pick it this week, will be valid for the 21st of March for those who will be sending messages. Before we get to Division 1B, we spoke to Garryowen duo Willie Staunton and Shane O'Brien a little earlier on. Joining us on this evening's Club Seed podcast powered by Energia are Garryowen coaches Shane O'Brien and Willie Staunton. Gents, you're very welcome. Let's take a snapshot of Division 1B. You're 5th in Division 1B of the Energia All-Ireland League after 15 games, 3 points behind the playoffs and 4th, 10 points above the 9th position, which is the relegation playoff currently occupied by UCC, and there are 3 games to go. Willie Staunton, 31 points to 28 win against Blackrock last Saturday in Doyle. Talk us through the game from a coaching point of view. It sounded like an absolute humdinger.
Yeah, look, it was a brilliant win for us. Great to get the win. 28-5 down, I think, after 55 minutes. Looking around there at 50 minutes going, Jesus, this is one of those days again, because we had it above in Trinity the other way around. But got to credit the squad, the depth of the squad as well. The bench came on, massive impact. We were on a bit of a high from the week before. We went up to Wesley, kind of ruled out of any performance effectively. But fairness to the squad, they've been tight, they've been through the depths of it. We lost 4 games in a row there before Christmas. They stuck together with a good Christmas period, training wise, and kind of paid off in the end. Like, I think, what was it, 28 points in 25 minutes. Max Klein with 4 tries is not a bad old feat as well. So there's great resiliency there, I think, and it's building. We're a young squad, so very happy. Still in the hunt. Going to take a long shot, but 3 games to go. Let's week by week now and see where we end up at the end of the season.
Very interesting to say that it was a good Christmas period on the pitch. We'll get to the Christmas off the pitch at Crossman's Christmas parties with Shano, apparently. Shano, 7 wins, 1 draw and 7 defeats to date. Willie kind of alluded to it there, but from a coaching perspective, what for you have been the positives to take, particularly from the middle half of the season and post-Christmas?
Yeah, like we kind of started really well, and we weren't even playing that well, but we were kind of winning games or being close in games. And then we just got a couple of knocks to kind of key guys, weren't really playing well in the lead up to Christmas. So we did put a good emphasis, as Willie said, on Christmas period. Did an awful lot of work in our attacking kicking game. Put a good bit of structure around that again for the second half of the season, and it's paid dividends. We've actually played really well, albeit we haven't won every game. We've actually played very well in pretty much every game. Scored a lot of bonus point tries. Trinity was kind of the one that you kind of look at going, oh God, you're thereabouts, and then you leave it, but they are very hard to contain on any day. So it's kind of, we started like a train, kind of fell off a cliff, and now we've kind of found ourselves again. So as Willie said, there is a good group off the field. They do enjoy socialising with each other. They get on very well as a group, and they've been on the other end of a few of those kind of games that happened at Blackrock, at the weekend. So it was nice for us to come out the other side of actually catching a team and beating them at the post.
Yeah, I suppose the one that comes to mind is Trinity, and it was only a couple of weeks ago, so I didn't want to interrupt Willie when he was talking there, but it must have been nice to get over the line, especially after that a couple of weeks ago.
That was, Morris, like, it happened to me with Cookies 3 years ago. We did that to Trinity in the very last play of the game. Connor Phillips, to be fair to him, scored a try in the last play of the game. Trinity is a great place to go, even as opposition coaches. It's hostile enough, the best times behind you. There was, I suppose, it definitely stood to us, Mass, in terms of the soul searching and that resiliency. We went back at it again, kind of simplified things, worked on the attack a bit more. But sometimes you'd ask yourself, geez, will this ever turn for us? But then we went out the following week and for 48 points in Armagh. So we were like, okay, we are definitely a good side. And look at Trinity's results now. Look where they are. I think they're 1 point off top. And they lost a lot of people during the summer. And we weren't sure what way Trinity would want to be this year, but like, they could end up going back up to 1A very quickly. So looking back, they're a quality side. We came away with 2 points. We thought we'd get 5, but since then we've did a job in Armagh, we did a job in Wesley, and now we've obviously got over to Blackrock as well. So they're thereabouts still.
Yeah. Would you say like your confidence is building at the right time of the season with those results? Like coming down the home stretch, you feel a lot more comfortable as a group. I think probably there was a bedding in period, as you said, bouncing back from that off the cliff period. Shano, would you say you're in a good place mentally now, coming down 3 games to go?
Yeah, even mentally and playing wise as well. Like I do, like, you see different pictures of training, and I think guys know what good looks like now on the field, as well as having that good buzz off the field. So I'm always confident watching them now at the moment. Look, we obviously have a tough run, and like, we have to go to Estonians in 2 weeks, and they'll be absolutely gunning for us. Like, everything went wrong for them on the day when they played us in Garryowen, and everything kind of went right for us on the day. So I don't think it was a fair metric on actually the scoreline on the day. So that would be tough. But I definitely think the group's confident as coaches. We actually are confident. But it's all on the day, really, lads, isn't it? As you know.
Do you know what,
You're a
Berkey?
new enough group of coaches, Shano. Obviously, you came from regions, and we'll talk to you a little bit about that in a moment, the differences. But do you think
Well, I
they
get
took
enough.
a
I get enough.
while, Willie, and both of you, for the players and you to learn what to expect from one another and what actually is well, you know, as you're saying, good practice, good training, and things like that?
Big time. Just to clarify, Berkey, Weasons haven't lasted since Shane left. Just want to get that in there. But like Berkey, myself, Sherry, and Ronan Mahoney Bank went in the last January into Garryowen, and like obviously we lost 19, 20 players last silly season, last May, June, July. It was one of the most horrific off seasons I've ever put down with a club. But the core group stayed. The Fitzes, Colm Quilligan, the Costellos, Max, George Haddon was floating around. You know, these lads all dug in, and we got a few bodies in, and that takes time, lads, to bed in. We're a brand new team. Like, you look at the Garryowen team sheet, we had issues before Christmas. Shane can vouch for it as well, with consistency with selection as well. What combinations are working, new bodies are floating around the place. Munster lads coming back in. But if you look at our team sheet in the second half of the season, since we played Highfield the 10th of January, it's pretty consistent. And I think that counts for a lot. And I often look at the top teams throughout, and I see Con at the moment, their team sheet is fluctuating a bit as well. You look at the top teams, like there's the same team nearly week in, week out, and consistency wins you leagues, in my opinion.
Wholeheartedly, yeah, absolutely. Jano, on that, just you can come in on that point as well, but have you know, like, obviously you've done a couple of years coaching with the Cookies, 20s and stuff, and then you went to Weegens and Ben McGilly at senior level. Have you noticed a big difference or step up from, you know, down Division 2 to 1B?
There is, like, it's funny, a lot of the lads, even who I'd still talk to in Weegens, would ask me this. Like, I do think skill set wise, like, lads are actually able to compete. It's more the actual physical attributes of the players. Like, you know, no real disrespect to any players in 2B or 2C, but you'd see some serious rigs on a Saturday as well, where you don't really see that in 1B. Like, everyone is very fit, very strong, very mobile. So it's the physicality, the pace. They would be the two things that I would find that I've kind of had to adapt coaching wise and make sure that I'm up to speed with our own players, because they're the two big things for me anyway. Definitely, Berkey.
I thought Gilly had retired, obviously not, if we're talking about rigs like that in Division
Morris
2.
is absolutely beaming as well. You're bigging him up in 2C. Well, let's take the next block there, lads. Shano, you mentioned Estonians in the 21st, Queens in the 28th, UCC in the 4th. It is a season-defining block because it is the last three games. But in terms of the top four, Willie referenced Division 1A last season. It was a very, very difficult year, new team, and the gap to 1A. So is top four the goal at the start of the year? Is that where you guys want to end up? But you're also cognizant, and it's a very difficult question to answer, don't get me wrong. If you find yourselves in a playoff final like Nina did with UCC, it's a very difficult one. And the second part of the question, Willie, I go to you, and that is, how would you even begin to prepare for a season in 1A? Not just as Garryowen, but as a club in general, because effectively you're 240 minutes from a playoff. Then all of a sudden you're 160 minutes from Division 1A. And I used the Nina example as last year. So there's plenty, I know there's plenty in that, lads, but Shane, in terms of the games, and then Willie, if you want to come in on what it would look like in 1A.
Look, the goal has definitely been top four, like from the start. We've referenced it since I came in the summer. So that goal is still there, and it's a very live goal now, clearly, when you've 3 games to go and you're 3 points off. Like, with regards to 1A animal that might come if all things went your way, I can't really vouch for it. I didn't see it. Like, so Willie, you'll probably know better than me, but
yeah,
it's definitely very much in our thoughts to get up there. Like,
yeah, top four was always to win it for all. Outright was go down, go straight back up. That was all the thought process. And then you see what the bodies that left and the experience that left during the summer. So we definitely had a massive building block. We're a very young side. We've 3 lads on Irish 20s. You've Johnny Byrne and Fionn Rouse floating around the squad as well. And Daniel Connell was in training as well. So that's 6, like, really, really young squad. I've mentioned some players like Scott Gibbs to lads before, Frauls and Berkey, and they hadn't a clue who I was on about. It just shows the age profile of the AIL, you know. Regarding next year, lads, it's very hard. There is definitely conversations about next year, not even if it's 1A or 1B, but retention, keep your lads, and then try and target some of the players to go if we do go up. But like 1A is just a completely different beast. It's like, even last year, we fell off the cliff, obviously, with Garryowen, but like we had a good result against Clontarf at the end of the season. Clontarf end up going on to win it, right? And I remember chatting to Andy Wooden about it. It's just consistency week in, week out, and you've got to have 25, 30 players at that level to compete, because I find the Limerick teams and or even Cork on at the moment with Berkey, you see like if 2 or 3 lads drop off, like it's so big for these teams. Whereas I feel like in Dublin, like some teams can afford to rotate and they're still consistent. And is there 4 teams in 1A in the top 4 at the moment, and it's no coincidence either. To summarise for all, it's very hard to plan for next year because we don't know where we are, but conversations are definitely happening. But like we don't want to fall foul of looking too far ahead either. It's week by week.
Just to add on to that as well, Willie, we were speaking. What I've been impressed with is, you said in your mandate at the start that community is a huge part, that you want to try and rebuild that on and off the field. There is a lot of stuff that is happening off the field, but can you kind of delve into, you're basically into a new season, and while you're coming to the end of this season, is that kind of one of a 3 to 4 year plan in terms of on and off the field? Because it is something, and with respect to Garryowen, it is something that perhaps went away a little bit, that wasn't there in terms of getting more to games, more to lunches, etc.
Yeah, like we came in last year and we got hammered by there in Euro in our first game, and we said, lads, no matter what, like we're out tonight, and it was a bit of a shock. The environment was poor, and look, culture is a word that's thrown around quite regularly in all sports at the moment, but I love it. I love a good environment. It makes it easier getting out of the house Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays, and they're a close bunch as well. Like our 20s had the Doan Walsh win yesterday, or the senior team were out with the 20s as well. And I don't think for all you can get success without having a really good environment. Like it just goes a long way. You can make mistakes and all that, but if you have a good environment, fellas covering your back and stuff like that, it's massive. We have a great social committee there as well. Like the team came together and said, right, we want to organise money for the club. They went off and organised a table quiz. There was a couple of grand raised for that. That's us giving back. But then there's also great volunteers in the club. We get fed every Tuesday and Thursday after training, and there's a group of volunteers that are helping us club clean up. The president's dinner, Woody had his dinner with Young Evans. There's an awful lot of effort going on behind the scenes as well. And then someone said to me there recently, you don't realise by you winning on the field goes a long way as well off the field. Yeah. People will dip into their like president's dinner. We got a few more tables after a win. People are like, yeah, do you know what? I'll train a table for that and I'll support it. So I love it, Rolls. I love the environment piece. I think you can really make a good squad out of it.
I'm glad to hear that, Will. Like me and you and Shane, as well, the three of us, we'd have had many conversations a lot away from a podcast. Sometimes over a pint, but more recently probably over a flat white, unfortunately. But we would talk about things like that. Vanilla flat white mush. No. I think in years gone by, in particular in Limerick, fellas forgot that this is supposed to be enjoyable. Like we got too carried away with professionalism. These lads need to enjoy hanging around with each other and spending time with each other. And to hear that Garryowen are delving into such steps off the pitch is encouraging. And as coaches as well, from your point of view, when it becomes shit, we have a couple of losses, all of a sudden those things become the bottom of the priority list. But it's important to keep them, relevant, because they have such a huge impact on the field, I believe. You hear the lads in Dublin, albeit they're ridiculously professional and how big and stuff they have the best social lives in the country. Do you know what I mean?
Sustainability is key, Berkey, for me as well. Like we don't want to be look at all the teams that have won AILs down through the years that have gone down the leagues to 2A and 2B. Like 18s and 20s is a massive thing. First and seconds is a massive thing. Thirds are going well. They're trying to set up a women's team in the club. We want this to be sustainable. We want to, whenever we walk away or whatever, that we're handing over a good framework to the next coaches that come in. That Garryowen is still competing on all fronts at all levels. That a lot of the ex-players, Berkey, up there at the moment, got up with their kids every Saturday behind the goals. So that's great. We have to kind of be that GA club mentality.
Yes, that's something I've always said to you about community. The GA club approach, where it's open all the time. You won the Dolan Walsh, really. You've been going well the Dolan Walsh last couple of years. Have you put in anything that's going to help your players transition from 20s to senior? Is that conversations you're having behind the scenes? Because for me, that's a huge gap in Munster rugby at the moment.
So in fairness to Sherry, I'll give him one bit of credit for not choosing to come on the podcast with us for After Ball, but he is adamant on the 20s training with the seniors, Berkey. We went in last year and it was huge numbers. You're looking around going, there were 60 people on the 4G in Garryowen, and you're looking around going, Jesus, how are we going to manage this? But over time, it just pays off, Berkey. Fitness, skills, communication, everything. We'd known Mac out last week, and Brian Fitz is coming back from injury, and he went with some of the younger group in a team. you could just hear his chat, bringing on all the young fellas. Then the following Thursday night, all those young fellas now were understanding, chatting off the ball. It was just great to see for that. The Donald Wildsburkey, to be fair, it was a cracking game yesterday, and credit to Nina as well. Just at the Savage Club, what they're doing out there, all 20 local players from around the area as well. Cracking game.
Incredible.
In Tolan Park, and we came out the right side, and that 20s team, then we want those lads that are over age for 21s next year to be feeding into our senior team as well, and the gap would become smaller and smaller and smaller over the few years.
No, it's great to hear. The social side of things, Shane, you mentioned in terms of the environment, but it is something that Berkey always says, and we have spoken to many clubs over the years, and they say that when you are at 1B and 1A, that the professionalism almost takes over in it. But I've met a couple of Garryowen players on nights out after losses, after wins. Is it something that the coaches can take part in? Is there a couple of beers had with yourselves? Because leading by example in certain instances needs to be done. But is it something that you get involved in?
Willie actually has the most input in the social committee WhatsApp group, so he's there saying the players are driving it. He's actually driving half it.
That's what happens when you have twins.
Living their life through the influence.
Yeah.
It's
big time.
No, exactly. But no, I enjoy a point after a game. Willie enjoys the crack as well, and Mick is very good for it as well. So there's definitely no kind of barrier between us when we do organise our nights out. It was funny, Sherry put the whole group on a little bit of a mini drinking ban kind of when we had a couple of we'd 4 games in a row, I think, and he was kind of going, look lads, we want to actually take these ones really seriously. And I think even fellas actually bought into that. But in terms of our nights out, they are great all crack. The lads, as I said, they have a great group there. We're more than happy to buy in. They love taking the piss out of me, they love taking the piss out of Willie, and they love taking the piss out of Mick. So what more do you want, really?
Sherry loves the old fire hose every now and then in the clubhouse.
Yeah.
We're going to have to get
less said the better.
Are they as good fun as when we were players, I find the newer generation very sensible compared to us.
Yeah, it's different. We just got to get down to their level, Berkey,
Berkey, you know what? Do you remember back in the day?
I remember everything, Willie, be careful.
Yeah.
Probably you can cut some of this out if this goes over the top.
But
yeah. Do you remember the office and the library and into Angel Lane, back to House Party?
11:21.
11:23.
11:23.
Yeah.
Tuesday night, Derry Knockgan stories, Prendy freaking out with us over the stories, and you're like, it's insane. They were
Matthew Cats have been chased out of houses by fathers.
They are still doing it though. We even just a small example. Yesterday we were sitting with the players at the Donald Walsh final. I sat down beside Oisin Cook and Des Fitz and or Dean Fanning was there as well. I was like, well, how'd you fare out last night? They're like, chicken hot, 3 o'clock. All of them in 101 together. So they're doing the same thing we were doing. Just maybe we were having better crack, I think.
They were.
Yeah, exactly. Willie Staunton, well, I won't have to cut any of that, it's great. Where the Energia AIL is now, specifically Division 1A and 1B, and where you think it could go from here. You're a great man for a voice note, but in the sense of, is the league going from strength to strength? Would there be any tweaks you would potentially make? The floor is yours.
Oh gosh, how long
do you have, Ollie?
I specifically put in the notes, Willie, you don't have all night. Yeah.
Look,
I've got to get a lot of listens, Willie, now, so choose your words carefully.
I don't have a solution. I genuinely don't. I'm following the AIL, I'd say, since '97 when my 2 brothers were playing with Garryowen and up and down the country and all that. 1A is phenomenal, lads. It's phenomenal, and I'm watching it. I watch a lot of the games and huddle, and you see the highlights. The standard is through the roof. It's definitely going from strength to strength for us. Even the whole, it really is semi-professional, in my opinion. You've had people on from the lower leagues chatting about where it needs to go and do they like the bus trips, and Shane might disagree, but the age profile is getting younger and younger in the AIL, in my opinion, because older lads have work on Saturdays, and we see it ourselves, lads, when we have to have a fella come up to Belfast and do TR, travelling reserve, and he misses out on a day's work. I love what the IRFU are doing. It's controversial, effectively, with the lower leagues, and I'd love to see 2A be regional as well. I'd love if Shannon came up to 1B. Nina are coming down. Obviously, that's derbies. If we do stay in 1B, if we go up, we'll have cookies. I think every club needs rivalry. You need it weekly. You need bums on seats. You need people in the gate. Guys, to go to the north for us, we'd Queens, we'd Armagh, and we'd Stonians, and we're going up every Saturday because it costs the club about $7,000 to do an overnighter. call a spade here, guys. Unless you're Mary's and Terran Euro, with maybe 1,000 people at the gate, like there was probably 150, 200 people in Dover Island Saturday. That's $2,000 coming in the gate. You know, I'm all about sustainability and having the derbies, going into town on a Saturday night and meeting the Shannons and the Cookies after a good derby game. I love the idea. Hopefully Kilfeacle might come up as well into that, say, the junior regional league as well. They'll be playing the likes of Bruff, the Middletons, the Tomans, the Clonmels. Like, what crack that's going to be for them. And you'll have bigger crowds at gates than going up to the north to play Belfast Harlequins. I'd love 1A and 1B to stay that really semi-pro, and if the schools players are coming out and they want to play a really high level and get into NTS and get onto Munster and Leinster and all that, great, go to that club and go after your career, kid, for 2 or 3 years, and then just regionalise everything else. I hope I don't sound controversial, but we see the cost of it from Garryowen, from overnighters to getting 2 bus drivers to go on an overnighter, like to get a breakfast put in, to get a pre-match meal to put in when you arrive that Friday night, to get a meal put in. Like, it's really costly, and the crowds are small, unfortunately.
Oh, valid points. Jano, you
I thought that was nail on head, Willie, for what it's worth.
Thanks, Tony.
No, I wouldn't. Look, I don't disagree with any of it. I fully understand. I fully understand the RFU directive. I fully understand it from a club perspective. Crowds at the gates. Travel is not easy. It's very, very expensive. You know, is there merit in some of these games with a crowd from Cork playing a team from Belfast, whatever it is? I was just, my only gripe, it's not a gripe actually, my only opinion is that, you know, I played pretty much all my career in 2A, 2B, 2C, so I got traveled pretty much fucking everywhere you can go, I've actually seen. And like some of the best days I ever had with all the clubs, we can get to this point, with all the clubs I played with, was traveling up to the north.
We'll get a graphic of them for the video, don't worry.
Yeah, was traveling up to the north and, you know, meeting Alakadoos on a bus, and you know, it was great days, like, and I understand, like, financially now it's not the thing, but yeah, like I remember traveling to City of Derry with All Crescent, leaving at 2 o'clock on a Friday at 22 years of age. You know, you're just having the best time of your life, like. So I remember going down to Middleton with Malahide and doing a 2-nighter down there, you know, and having an absolutely unbelievable crack, like a weekend I'll never forget. So, you know, I know, I get it from a pure professional perspective, rugby perspective, it is the right job. But there's definitely, you know, a couple of days.
There's pros and cons to both.
Yeah, Morris made a great suggestion, Shane. I hear that, man. I'm pining. I'm going, oh my God, he's dead right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they are memories you never forget. And a young fella on a bus of a Friday, you know, getting away with playing cards, losing cards, they give you back your money.
Yeah.
You're only the young fella. But Morris made the point that, you know, maybe when this regionalised thing settles down and it's the way forward, that they introduce an All-Ireland Senior Cup, like they do a Junior Cup, to perhaps replace some of that kind of stuff we're talking about, Shayna. But I think Willie's point is the one, it's the one that's going to drive things. If you've taken in $2,000 on a Saturday and the following week it's costing you $7,000, you just simply can't run a club that way. You know what I mean? And when you've got 4 of those trips in a year, like, that's, you know, it's crazy money. It's crazy money. But I think what you're doing in Garryowen as well, obviously, to address both fronts, is getting more people in the gate is also key. And maybe, where we might be overselling the derby thing, but I don't think so. I think you're right. That's when we get more people in the gate.
Berkey, I'll give you an example of that, because I understand both sides of it. I used to love a bus journey, but I went down to the Tom Malahide match on Saturday, and I had the 2 kids. I was behind the goals. I walked in and I said, why the fuck is it so quiet? Like, and my father just, I didn't even think about it. He goes, because the last time you were here to play Clonmel, and Clonmel brought a massive crowd as well. And there was no one from Malahide. Like, there probably was about 5 or 6, like, but like the difference it made, like the local, to the gate was incredible. Like, do you know what I mean?
We went up to Armagh, lads, in November, and we had 3 supporters up there.
Yeah.
And when we're walking in with we got a bonus point win. You're walking in, and there was just 3 parents, 3 fathers of the players, you know. And Morris, do you remember back in the day? Like, I remember Garryowen went up to Navan Berkey when Navan got promoted from junior to senior, and it was Navan's first time up senior, and they drew Garryowen, and we had just won the AIL, I think. So we were going up to play a Division 3 team in Navan, and it was a massive fixture for them, their first big game in senior. It was a massive crowd in it, and they wore pink jerseys. I think Navan did the same day. And I know there was Division 1 versus Division 3, but the score wasn't huge either because the lower team is their big game as well. And I'd love if the AIL went back to that FA Cup style Bateman Cup, because the Bateman Cup nowadays is like, you nearly can predict, like if you win your provincial, that team.
I'd love to sit down and look at the whole scheduling and the structure of the season for that. And I know for things like that, we got a message really from the Tarflads. Was it the Tarflads Frauds or whoever?
They're very valid points. Yeah,
I said that. Look, I personally think that the Bateman Cup deserves its own day, but I understand the restraints of the season. And the message through were from lads, where could you possibly put it? And for me, it was like, well, if the Bateman Cup doesn't have its own slot, then we're doing something wrong. You know what I mean? The Bateman Cup final, and if you're going to go back to the idea of the AIB Cup, which I thought was brilliant, you do have to. Something else has to go, though. There has to be give and take somewhere. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and the league was probably lesser teams back in the day as well, less fixtures effectively. Like, but I remember back in the day, I remember Ballynahinch beat us in a semi-final, and they beat Con in the final. Con were stacked. Ryan Banbury, he was 10. Willie Falloon was 7. Stuart Lamb was 8. Oh my God, sensational back row. It was always the Good Friday, Easter Good Friday, effectively.
Yeah,
was always around then because, and you could fit it in the same weekend every year, effectively, because. Look, I don't know about the consistency. I'd love the AIL, just the same AIL final, same Bateman final date, the school senior cup. Berkey, do you remember you always used Paddy's Day? Like, no matter what was on Paddy's Day, you knew the school senior cup was on, you might go out to it. And I'd love to just get back with the 3 games on, 1 week off, 3 games on, 1 week off. I just love to go back to that, just to give consistency to the league.
Willie Staunton gets our vote to head up the scheduling council for the newly revitalized.
If you won't take me for it.
No, but it was, and it's just in terms of the numbers from memory, it was. If you're in,
I actually think Anne Staunton should be the representative. Because I tell you, she's fucking started out.
You'd be looking at 25 to 27 games, including Leinster League. I think was what you were looking at, which was
be a few fellas in Dublin get a belt of a brally.
A welfare issue. There were plenty of social media questions, but because of the number of clubs that lads have played with, none of them could be read out because we will need a solicitor. So that leads us to our quickfire questions. Shane O'Brien, what's on the pre-match playlist? While you've had your flat white?
I don't listen to much music. Look, it could be anything with me. It could be anything from Fleetwood Mac to Zach Bryan to Bob Dylan. They'd be my kind of 3 go-tos there. Honestly, I could go with any genre.
Nice. Crescent, Galwegians and Malahide influencing each genre there. Willie Staunton, the best post-match meal in the Energia All-Ireland League?
I went to Greystones in 2007 for all. I think we got a prawn cocktail, beef as the main, and a dessert. I'm not joking you. It was
Celtic
the old
Tiger,
Bateman Cup.
Celtic Tiger. Nobody should be surprised.
It was the Bateman Cup FA Cup style draw, and we got Greystones away, and it was on against the Head. I'll never forget it. And we got a 3-course meal, and it was
more the match, is it? Yeah. Shane, the best try you've seen in the All Ireland League?
I'm sorry, I didn't read all of these.
You did a nice flick back in the days, remember, Cart?
Yeah, I remember that actually, yeah.
You sent it
but I didn't score the try. I remember who scored it. Above in Belfast Harlequins. Guy by the name of Mark Sinnott, he was actually the SNC coach for the Irish clubs this year. He used to play Scum Half Malahide. He scored a try in Belfast Harlequins. It was set up by yours truly, but definitely goes down as one for me.
Willie, your favourite All Ireland League memory?
Oh Jesus. I don't want to be too selfish. Ken Hanley bursting a rugby ball for young Munsters back in the day.
Yeah, definitely.
Berkey was playing. Berkey thought he was a back, but he was really a good hooker.
And the skills of a back, Willie.
Wow.
Yeah,
your best memory, Willie, since you won't say it yourself, I'll give it to you.
Tony for me.
He fucking hits a drop goal from the fucking car park in the Crescent Shopping Centre against Shannon, the first Friday Night Lights, 2009, I'm going to say.
Berkey, please. We've already had this in the Garryowen.
The black and white Puma balls.
Yeah.
What a strike, Willie.
Yeah.
I thought it was from the McDonald's roundabout, but fair enough. The car
jokes aside, it was 50 metres, 60 metres.
Yeah, around that. First Friday Night Lights in the AIL as well. It was a huge.
It's all about the big crowds at games. Remember those Friday Night Lights? They were just, when they came first, they were amazing.
The 4 teams in one A was unbelievable, yeah. Sensational.
3-day piss up, and then Blackrock beat us by 50 points the week after.
That's the consistency you're looking for, Willie.
Oh, you were a king in town that night, kid.
Yeah. Before we let you go, lads, watering holes in Limerick for a beverage post game. Shano first.
Limerick.
Cart, come on.
Yeah,
You
no, I
guys
do.
can't
The
have
Black
any
Hole is a
championship.
great one.
The Black Hole, Paddy Kelly,
Yeah.
great man. Willie?
Gotta be that.
Yeah, the Black Hole with Eddie Fitz was always a great one. Finney's is my local now, but it's out early, home early, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, you've been very polished. And with that, Willie Staunton and Shane O'Brien, thanks a million for taking the time with the Club Scene podcast powered by Energia. Mike Sherry is on some other show this evening, but best wishes to you and all at Doyle.
Big shout out to Willie as well for getting the haircut, just in case he was on the clips.
Yeah, no, it is. Do you want to give the
Thing in
barber
the
an
wing, huh? The thing in the wing strikes.
a barber shout out? Use Will 10 for 10% discount.
It only
Yeah,
took 8
mine.
seasons to get him on, he said today, lads, as well. So you probably
It
won't
was
have
the
a
first
problem
time.
with
Would
it.
you believe it was the first time of asking? Nothing to do with Mars's call out last week. Gents, thanks a million for taking the time. We will leave
7
you.
years.
Cheers, fellas.
Cheers.
In Division 1B of the Energia All-Ireland League, the results from round 15, Trinity had a 13 points to 12 win over UCC in College Park to keep the heat on Wesley at the top of Division 1B as a place at 1A is at stake. Garryowen, as we just heard from the lads, Roy the Rovers come back 31 points to 28 winners over Blackrock College in Doyle to keep their playoff hunt alive. Naas pulled off a stunning away win in Woodley Park, 24 points to 21 against Highfield to move themselves towards safety and dent Highfield's automatic title hopes, but they will be within playoffs, you would imagine. And in Stonians, another stunning away win from them, 35 points to 32 against Old Wesley in Energia Park. Wesley's lead cut to 1 point by virtue of Trinity's win, as I said. And Queen's University will play their rugby in Division 2A of the Energia All-Ireland League next season as City of Armagh won 31 points to 12 in Dublin on Saturday afternoon. Berkey, a brilliant interview with Willie and Shano. We'll get to that in a few moments' time. Dublin University's 13 points to 12 win means that they move to second in the table. They are on 53 points, 1 point behind Old Wesley. Maddie Lynch with a try conversion and 2 penalties. The sole score for Tony Smead's men, Jack Casey and Michael Cogan, the try scores for Tomas O'Leary's men. UCC led 12 points to 0 at half time, had opportunities late in the day. We would have thought with the weather we had, this would have been a high-scoring thriller. It was a thriller, 13 points to 12. Trinity showing that they can win ugly with respect or in a high-scoring thriller. But they are 3 games to go and they are right in the hunt and hunting down Wesley.
Yeah, I suppose fucking Trinity have never beaten her. I thought it was huge statement from UCC. Things not going their way, backs against the wall, the results not happening for them. Irish 20s dad's missing. They go to Trinity, arguably one of the hardest places in the country to go and get a result, and they put themselves in contention to come away with 4 points. Well, hard earned 4 points, and unfortunately are caught late. Look, to come away with a point. There's many things to be happy to walk out of there with a point, but in the context of the game, they'll be disappointed. But again, Trinity just showing that they're never beaten, and it's a lovely way to go into the end of the season thinking doesn't really matter what the score is with 15 minutes to go. They'll back themselves in any scenario, like, won't they?
Indeed, UCC dropped to 9th. They're in the relegation playoffs place as it stands. They're on 32 points, 2 points behind Blackrock, 3 points behind Naas. It is remarkably tight at the table. Speaking of Blackrock, they were beaten 31 points to 28 by Garryowen and Doyle. Max Klein with 4 tries from Mike Sherry's men. Rory Woods with a sole try as well, meaning he scored 5 tries for 5 match points. Lachlan Stewart with 3 conversions. Tim Corkery, Dara Farrell, James Burke and Alex Mullen with the 4 try for James Blaney's charges, meaning that they picked up 2 match points, and how valuable they could be come the end of the season, now on 34 points, 2 ahead of UCC and 1 behind Naas, 7 behind City of Armagh in 6th. Berkey, 1B is a crazy league. To put it into context, Garryowen winning 2 games with maximum points, with 9 points, having won in Wesley the previous week. They are now 3 points outside the playoffs. Blackrock College losing at the weekend. They're 2 points above the relegation playoff space, and they are 7 points behind Garryowen. This is going to go to the wire. Queens will play their rugby in Division 2A next season. We'll get to that in a few moments' time. but the relegation playoff spot is not somewhere you want to be, and there will be plenty of helter-skelter moments in the remaining 3 rounds.
I was looking at this, I was looking at the table, and I was kind of going, geez, how is it UCC and Blackrock? But then you kind of look at all 9 teams and go, well, if not them, who?
Yeah.
It's just one of those leagues that, anyone can beat anyone, and we're seeing that. But I don't know, maybe we need to apologise to Blackrock for bigging them up so much at the start of the year, but I didn't see them down on the mix. I certainly didn't see UCC either. I know they lost a lot of players, but coming from where they did last year, not a nice place to be with 3 games to go. I suppose, to a degree, faith in your own hands for every club, because things are so tight if you take care of business, but it's not easier said than done. Just Blackrock just hasn't really clicked yet for them as a new group. And I'd say if they can keep the core of that group together, the talent they have on paper, and obviously they'll add a few of the Blackrock lads from a particularly talented schools team you'd imagine will join them. They'll be a force to be reckoned with next year, but I think it'll be backs to the wall making sure that they're not a Division 2 rugby club next year, which they don't deserve to be.
Yeah, indeed. That'd be very interesting, and time will tell. But 2 match points for Jake.
I'm just sorry on Garryowen. Look, Willie spoke. Shane, I thought they spoke brilliantly and candidly very honestly about life in Garryowen and the wider picture. But you got to tip your hat to them, really, don't you? We probably didn't say it when they were on. Like, you got to tip your hat to them. They put themselves in contention, and why not dare to dream at the moment? They've earned it. When you beat the likes of Blackrock and you beat Wesley away, you put yourselves in these positions.
Yeah, indeed. No, very well said. Plenty of rugby to be played. Naas, Blackrock and UCC all bidding to avoid the relegation playoff spot. And you'd be a brave man to say which one will end in the bottom 3. Naas did their best to get out of that scenario with an unbelievable 24 points to 21 win over Highfield down in Cork and Woodley Park. James Cronin with a brace, and Owen Keating with the 3rd try. Shane Buckley with 3 conversions. Tyg Brophy and a Dylan O'Keefe hat-trick. You can imagine whether it's Brady's family ham or pints of Guinness, he had multiple. Hopefully he had Rennie if he had that duo, because Morris will attest to that can cause a bit of indigestion. But Dylan O'Keefe's hat-trick means that Naas win, take 5 points from Cork, from Highfield, and they're on 35 points. They're 10 points, 10 siblings, 10 points outside the playoffs behind Highfield after that win. Jekyll and Hyde, Berkey, you tend to, we do have cliches and whatnot, but you have to tip your hat to Naas. Highfield have a Senior Cup final against Shannon this weekend. They'll have to dust themselves down ahead of a massive game for both sides there in Munster in terms of what's on offer. But Naas, unbelievable win, led at halftime 17-14, win 24-21. Highfield be bitterly disappointed, but Naas showing when they're on it what they can do.
I got a very, very honest assessment from one of the Highfield lads today who just said, geez, Naas were excellent. Said they were just there. They said first and foremost they're a very good side, and albeit and I think that's the nature of 1B. There are no bad sides in 1B, but unfortunately somebody has to rotate the positions of 7th, 8th, 9th, and you might get carried away with overplaying team in 8th, but all teams are quality in that league. And he just said they're a good side and they were excellent on the day and deserved their win. He said their defence was absolutely superb and Highfield really struggled to break them down. So, no kudos or no big drama, no big issue. Naas fully deserved on the day, and I thought couldn't ask for fairer than that.
Johnny Murphy will be very happy as we head into Cheltenham week with that.
It's I said it, lads, on Saturday. At some stage across the leagues, and it happened. To me, it happened this week. At some stage across the leagues, the bottom teams start performing better than they have all season long. And I think we saw that this weekend with Naas winning in Woodley Park, Blackrock losing a big lead in Garryowen, and UCC losing last play of the game to Trinity. So all of a sudden, you have these teams down the bottom who were losing quite regularly, I suppose. Like, let's be honest about it, even though they are good sides and anyone can beat anyone, especially 1B, but they're turning out performances now, and Lord only knows what's going to happen in 1B from now on when that starts happening.
Yeah, That's the first time it's taken 16 episodes this season, but that's the first time I've heard Morris Archery excited about bottom teams in Division 1B. But it is very valid points. The form, it's the need and want type scenario
Yeah.
almost that we're speaking about there. And you can imagine that Naas would have had firm eyes on that result, but they would have probably looked at Garryowen and Blackrock going, one of these teams is going to lose. And if we manage to win here, we can actually put a little bit of daylight. There is 3 points between themselves and UCC. But as Berkey said, UCC could have easily tipped Trinity over. So 3 games to go, plenty to play for. Instonians had a stunning 35 points to 32 win over Old Wesley on the road in Energia Park. Tom Lark, Luke O'Connor with a brace, and Stephen Smith with the try bonus point, meaning Morgan Lennon's charges take 2 points from the game. Tom Lark with 3 conversions and 2 penalties. Ollie Clark with a brace, Bevan Prinslow, Shalk van der Merwe, Bradley McNamara, the try scores for Paul Pritchard's men. Rory O'Farrell with 3 conversions and 2 penalties. 25 points to 14, Old Wesley led at half time. Berkey, they lose 35 points to 32. An agonising defeat. Huge credit to Instonians after their first defeat in 33 games in 3 years or so in the Energia All-Ireland League. But it may be tight at the bottom. It is extremely tight at the top. And Wesley's lead is cut for 9 points to 1 over the last 3 rounds. Instonians would be delighted. They're 4 points behind Trinity. But again, we spoke about 54-51 in Division 1A. There were 67 points on offer in Energia Park on Saturday afternoon, all for a tenner. Instonians will be delighted with the win. Old Wesley, very disappointed, but again, the league that keeps on giving.
Yes, a couple of things. This one, phenomenal. Phenomenal game, phenomenal result for Instonians, phenomenal comeback from half time. You know, to score 21 points second half is ridiculous, really. And to score 5 tries in Wesley, you know, can't say, but they deserve to take 5 points home. Wesley's point of view, Christ, at 25-14 at home, you back them every day of the week to see that out. But we must clarify something. Or I must clarify something.
It's we now, is it?
Well, yeah, all right, I'll take this one. For everyone outside of Old Wesley, I was taking the piss. They do not have any hotel or function room booked for a victory dinner. They do not have any balloons ordered or cakes or banners or anything such like that, or victory t-shirts.
Maybe they do, but we don't. We haven't been told about it either.
I was taking the absolute piss. We have been informed that certain people in the Dublin region seem to think that this is true, and it may or may not have been used as motivation for teams in the last couple of weeks. So if for some reason we have caused any undue hardship for Wesley or extra sort of hardship, we do apologise. Wesley are a fantastic club. Yeah. We were attempting to be funny. But yeah, they're 1 point clear with 3 rounds to go. Their fate is in their own hands, but they are under pressure. And I think if they win this, or not next week, but the week after, if they get the next win, I think I'd back them to see it out. But they need to get a win to get back to winning ways here.
And if they do, Berkey has volunteered to speak and MC their victory dinner wherever they may have it.
I would actually love to do that.
Yeah, there you go. Well, back to the scene of the crime, back down to where the Wes was. But for the time being, Instonians' bonus point win on the road means that they are 4 points behind Trinity in second, and they are 4 points ahead of Highfield in fourth, but they are also 5 points behind Old Wesley at the top. Who wins 3 games decides that. It will be very, very interesting to see. City of Armagh were 31 points to 12 winners over Queen's University in Dublin. Henry Walker and Johnny Scott, the try scores for Queen's. Josh Cunningham, Conor Neary, Rocky Olsen, Josh McKinley, and Finn Fenhart, the try scores for Chris Parker's. City of Armagh moved to 6th in the table on 41 points. They're 4 points behind Highfield, and not beyond the realms of possibility. Queens, with that defeat, are consigned to Division 2A of the Energia All-Ireland League. Difficult season for them and 3 games to go. They certainly won't throw in the towel there, but they are consigned to Division 2 next season. City of Armagh, Berkey, couple of defeats, a bit of a mix and match them in the second half of the season, but with 3 games to go after the relegation last season, they're 4 points behind the playoffs. Much like we heard Willie and Shane all say, Chris Parker, he won't be ecstatic with it, but they still have a chance to get into those playoffs, and where there's a chance, they'll certainly go for it.
100%, John. I think Armagh are probably the club which you judge the league off. Like, Armagh are very unlucky to have gone down last year after 3 stellar seasons in 1A. And have found it tough. And, that just speaks volumes of the quality in the league. The fact that a team like Armagh, what are they sitting from, the 6th, is it?
Yeah, Armagh are in 6th on 41 points.
That just tells you how tight and how close that league is and how tough that league is. But yeah, look, they'll go hammer and tongs right till the end of the season, and they won't give up hope until it's over. It's just the nature of who they are, the people involved. But yeah, look, it's a long shot, three rounds to go, but who knows? But again, these boys just they're the type of club, even if there was mathematically no chance, they're just not the type that would finish the season anything but gung ho anyway. It's just the nature of who they are.
Indeed. That is our review.
Can I make you put your heads on the block, so?
Go on.
Okay, so the table, Estonians 49, so Wesley 54, Dublin University 53, Estonians 49, Highfield 45, Garryowen 42, City of Armagh 41, right? I'll leave it there. Who is getting in the playoffs there? I can call out last 3 games for me. So Armagh play Highfield at home, Trinity away, Wesley at home. Trinity, Naas away, City of Armagh at home, Blackrock away, Garryowen and Estonians away, Queens at home, UCC away, Highfield, Armagh away, Blackrock at home, Queens at home last day, Estonians, Garryowen home, UCC home, Naas away, and Wesley, UCC at home, UCC away, Naas at home, Armagh away.
Top 4 doesn't change for me. It may change order, but I don't see with the greatest
respect. Garryowen getting in there.
I think the Estonians game will tell a lot there. And obviously Munster in South Africa might have a less of an impact as it does in the Cookies, but I just think Estonians are but for me, with respect to all teams, I think the order of the top 4 will change. I don't believe that Garryowen or City of Armagh will get there. I stand to be corrected. What do you think, Berkey?
I think if there's to be a change, it'll be Garryowen getting in over Highfield.
Okay.
But I would say that's not a long shot, but it might be worth a flutter. But I wouldn't predict it. But I would say if there is to be a change, that would be the one.
Prepare to get very watery flat whites if you get them anywhere near Woodley Park over the next couple of weeks. Moss, you asked the question, pointed, loaded question. What do you envisage happening there?
I agree with you, actually. I think the top 4 will stay the same. But do you want to hear something really mental? I think Estonians might win the league.
Oh. Are you up in Shaw's Bridge with Munster A anytime soon?
No, I know. I just look at their fixtures. Garryowen at home, UCC at home. No disrespect to those 2 sides, but Estonians' home form has been nothing short of incredible. Now they go to Naas last day, and that could have a massive. That
You're
could be
saying
massive.
there's 15 points there. Like.
I think Naas might be. I fancy Naas actually to beat either Trinity or Wesley. And I think that last game of the season might be a bit meaningless for Naas. Yeah, I don't know. They have a gap of 5 to close, but I do
last
think
season's game was pretty meaningless for Naas as well, and Highfield played against them. We all know how that turned out. 38, 37 or whatever it was. But no,
they lost, didn't they?
It will. Naas did lose, yeah. Naas did lose
Yeah,
on the final day. So it will be interesting to see what a league it's going to be at both ends. The fixture is Saturday, March 21st, sees Blackrock College welcome Queens to Stradbrook, City of Armagh and Highfield in the Palace Grounds, Estonians, Garryowen and Shaw's Bridge, Naas, Trinity and 4 knots, and UCC Old Wesley in the Mardyke. Moss, our ace of clubs and game of the week for Saturday, March
Our
21st.
ace of clubs is Insonian's Garryowen, and then I've got Naas Trinity and UCC Wesley.
Garryowen have been excellent, and they are. You heard Willie saying about consistency, but I think Estonians, they already lost one at home, which must feel like.
All right, come on. I know we've had the Gary one.
Estonians.
We all think Estonians going to win. Like, just move on.
Estonians to win there. Trinity to win in Naas, and the last one, Moss, is UCC Old Wesley.
Yeah.
Jesus, Wesley to steady the ship there. You would imagine, I think, but UCC fighting for their lives. Oh, Old Wesley, just about. Moss, who you having?
I'm going to go with Estonians, definitely. Naas Trinity, I'm going to pick Naas. I think they're in desperation mode. I think they've really, if you look at the results, they've actually improved no end over the last 4 games. They've bonus pointed Armagh at home. They've picked up 2 points away to Blackrock. They've bonus pointed Queens at home, and then they've gone to Highfield and win. I think the pressure is on them, and I think they might beat Trinity. And to be honest with you, I was actually going to pick UCC to beat Wesley, only I think they'll probably be down a few bodies to go. Like Ben O'Connor will probably be gone. I'd say Sean Dogball will be gone. They're players that have been playing with them regularly. And on that basis, I think Wesley might just squeak it down the Mardyke.
Berkey and Estonians, Garryowen?
Estonians.
Naas or Trinity?
Trinity.
UCC or Old Wesley?
Wesley. You know what I mean? You don't need to be so dramatic, but it was.
No, not at all. Berkey is off to watch Liverpool and Galatasaray in the Champions League. Oh, that's tomorrow night. Sorry.
I would rather eat shit.
Do you watch soccer, Berkey?
I do, but I wouldn't watch Liverpool if you paid me.
Oh,
Fair
interesting.
Did you see the Old Firm yesterday? My God, I thought there was going to be deaths there for about a minute.
Berkey was in Glasgow
I would
yesterday.
have loved to have been in that crowd.
Berkey was there. We just don't know was he on the pitch afterwards or not. That is our review and preview of Division 1B of the Energy.
Maris is a Celtic fan. He's a Celtic crest tattooed in his arse.
Yeah. Moving to Division 2A.
I was at an Old Firm before. My God, different world.
Moving to Division 2A of the
I'd have enjoyed that yesterday, I have to say.
Yeah, unreal. Cashel were 73 points to 14 winners over Banbridge in Spafield. Corinthians were 15 points to 14 winners over Greystones in Corinthian Park. University of Maynooth Barnhall were crowned Division 2A champions. Many congratulations to them. We will bring you updates from day 3 of their piss up. They were 24 points to 21 winners over Old Crescent in Takumi Park. Shannon closed the gap on Dungannon for that home semi-final spot, 23 points to 19 on the Thomond Park back pitch, and Wanderers kept up their playoff hopes and sticking in fourth with a 17 points to 12 win over Ballymena in Marion Road. Moss, we will start with standalone. Barnhall were 24 points to 21 winners over Old Crescent. Timmy Duggan and Jeff Williams, along with Evan Craven, the try scores from Michael Harding's men. John Hurley with 2 conversions and Timmy Duggan with a conversion. Shane Mallon, Abdul Olase Bakan and Connor Duggan with the try, the third try for Barnhall. Oisin O'Neill with 3 conversions and a penalty. They led 14 points to 0. They won by 3 points, but they have been by far and away the best team in the league. They're 20 points ahead of Dungannon in second position, and they are well-deserved champions. It's been a long time coming. Playoff, semi-final defeats, final defeats over the last number of years. They won't be denied this time, and they will be a very welcome addition to Division 1B.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to Barnhall. Like you said, they've been far and away the best team in the division. You know, they won at the weekend, and to be honest with you, I think it was a bit more comfortable than the scoreline suggests. I think Crescent scored very late to get within 3 and pick up an important bonus point for them, obviously. But you know, I think it was more comfortable than the scoreline suggests. Look, we were slagging them, saying, well, slagging them. I mean, they'll take a slag in there with 15 out of 15, but we were saying the whole thing was built on defence, and then the last couple of weeks they've exploded into life. Definitely the most complete team in this division. And look, from talking to them over the years, and they've had disappointment, the structures are in place there in Barnhall to take 1B, to take the 1B like a duck to water. I think, they've built the club the right way. They've good talent coming through with the amalgamation with the university. The club just seems in a really good place. It seems really, really well run. So congratulations to everyone in Barnhall, I suppose.
Indeed. Commiserations to their 20s team who were beaten in the JP Prem 1 final by a very good UCD side. Tom McKeown, who's been a stalwart, is in charge of the 20s there. So
And there you go. That's exactly, I suppose, that proves the point, isn't it? And
yeah,
they had a really good 20 side last year as well. That exactly proves the point that they're ready, like as a club, probably. Because we've seen teams come up, and I'm not taking a shot at any club here, but I am going to say, like, Navan got 3 promotions on the bounce and ended up in 1B probably before they were ready. And they'll probably admit that themselves.
yeah.
It looks to me like Barnall are ready for that step.
Yeah, indeed. Their women received their Division 1 medals on Sunday prior to the UCD final at the 20s last, but they're on day 3 now. It is Monday night. It's Jersey Day. They're backing horses in a pub in Parsonstown. So reliving, we live our lives vicariously through winners of divisions in the Energia All-Ireland League. And day 3, the 4-day hangover will be a lot easier once you know you're playing a rugby in Division 1B and no game next weekend. Who knows? A couple of settlers watching Cheltenham tomorrow will be the order of the day. Barnhall crown champions. Massive well done to Sam Cawley, Adrian Flavin and co there. Crescent with the losing bonus point sit in 9th position on 25 points. They're 9 points behind Greystones, 13 points ahead of Banbridge. Still mathematically possible for Banbridge to catch Crescent in the playoffs. However, unlikely, but still all to play for down there. Moss, we will take Shannon and Dungannon and Corinthians and Greystones next. Shannon winning 23 points to 19 against Dungannon at the Thomond Park back pitch. Harry Long, Jamie Conway and Neil Cronin for Lee Nicholas's men with the tries. Killian O'Connor with a conversion and 2 penalties. Jacob Clark, James Gervin and Mervyn Brown the try scores for Johnny Gillespie's charges. Ben McCoy, the ever dependable, with 2 conversions there. Dungannon led 14 points to 11 at half time. The win for Shannon means that they closed the gap to 3 points on Dungannon, and Corinthians with a 15 points to 14 win over Greystones. Mikey Yar with a brace and Owen Conlon, Reeve Southerly and a penalty try for Greystones. The win for Corinthians, Moss, means that they closed the gap to Wanderers, who also won. We'll get to that in a second. But Shannon needed to win. They'll be very happy with the win. Dungannon picking up a losing bonus point, so Shannon closing the gap, but it's advantage Dungannon in terms of that home semi-final, not discounting Wanderers or Corinthians, who it is mathematically possible can change. But with Barnhall gone up now, it is firmly on getting into the playoffs, and with Dungannon, they're in the driving seat for that home semi-final.
Yeah. Before I start talking about these 2 games, lads, I can't believe I forgot to talk about it with G. I don't know if you noticed it on any score there on Saturday. Do you notice that they now have the streams built into the app as well?
Yes, Colin Deering was in.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, sensation.
An absolute game changer, Mars. So you don't have to. Oh man,
I was like down on Saturday checking the scores, and then I was here. What the fuck is this sign? And I clicked into it, and like I was watching Cookies in Lansdowne,
Local women,
half watching my kids and watching the Tone match. It's like absolutely unbelievably good.
Yeah, the link you clicked, man, said local women in your area or something around you. I think was it or
MILFs, yeah.
It is a welcome addition.
That,
it is a welcome addition, 100%. And Colin Deering, I had forgot to mention that, but unbelievable. But
Shannon, yeah, it was a big win. Whatever way the wind was blowing, this doesn't happen too often down in Thomond. You could actually hear the cheers from Thomond Park in the Shannon Dungannon match. It was actually hilarious. Like you could hear the shouts and the thing, and then you'd open up the any score and you'd go, "Oh, Shannon must have scored," or whatever was going on. It seemed like there was a big old crowd up there, but it was a big...
You'll hear both of them 3 counties of it, I see.
It was a big win for Shannon though, in the context of, I suppose, it was a double big win really, because obviously it keeps them in touch for that home semi-final, exactly like you said, Frals, against Dungannon. But with the teams behind them, stacking up now as well. They're only 5 points ahead of fifth, for example. So, to keep them in those playoff spots as well, it's getting very, very tight there. So it was a big, big win for Shannon, and it was hot and heavy from the crowd noises anyway. You could hear down there. Dungannon have big forward pack, big maul. Shannon were struggling against that at the start of the season. So to get a win against a team who, I suppose, play that way is probably, big mentally for Shannon as well. In terms of Corinthians, then beating Greystones, who all of a sudden find themselves in eighth, which is crazy, really. 15-14 really, really hung on in the end. I think Corinthians scored a penalty try with about 8 minutes to go. And then Corinthians got a yellow card 2 minutes later. So they played the last, 10 minutes or so without or with 14 players with a 1 point lead. So digging out that win for Corinthians was massive for them. And obviously the other side of that coin is you see Greystones then drop to 8. And that, I suppose that really hurts. To be honest with you, it's such a harsh one for Greystones because it probably ends their playoff hopes. They're now 8 points behind with fourth with 3 games left. So it's probably too much to overcome for Greystones now.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see. So Corinthians win means that they're in fifth. They've closed the gap on Wanderers to 2 points, with Wanderers having a 17 points to 12 win over Ballymena and Marion Road. Jamie Kavanagh, Dion Moe, and with a try himself. David Fitzgibbon with 2 conversions and a penalty. Owen Ritson and James McLean, the try scores for Ballynahinch. Wanderers must have had a knack of winning games, big scores but tight. But they're coming out on the right side of the results. It means they're in fourth as it stands. They would play against UCC in a relegation playoff semi-final. That could obviously be Blackrock, it could be Naas. But Wanderers doing very, very well. Ballymena picking up a losing bonus point means they're on 35 points. Again, it's 7 points with 3 games to go. It is unlikely, but again, they still have an opportunity to get in there. And behind Ballymena are Cashel, who had a 73 points to 14 win over Banbridge and Spafield. Marcel Stryden with 3 tries, Alan Flannery with 5, Brendan Cross, Timothy Townsend, and Carl Ryan with a try each for Ray Maloney's men. Ben Toomey with 2 conversions, John O'Sullivan with 7, Banbridge scoring 2 penalty tries. They must have listened to you, Moss, because you said their home form wasn't really up to scratch. 73 points to 14, 5 points on the board, a hell of a lot of plus the points differential. They're level on points on Greystones, ahead of them by 77 or so points on the points differential. But Cashel sit in 7th after that massive win on 34 points. And Wanderers sit in 4th, ahead of Ballymena in 6th. So a big weekend of movements in Division 2A.
Yeah. And like you said, Wanderers, you look at their seasons, the last couple of seasons, and they would have been renowned for throwing the ball around. This season, then it's not completely different, but 3 of their last 4 wins have been actually, to be honest with you, 4 of the last 6 games they've won. They've won without bonus points. They've been close games, 1-score games, and they're just digging it out, which is not the Wanderers we're associated with. But look, they won't care. They're winning. They're in touch. They're in 4th. They're 6 points behind Dungannon. They're eyeing probably that home semi-final as well. So it's a good win for Wanderers. In terms of Ballymena, they've been on a very good run. They pick up a point, probably too far back as well, I would think about now. But look, Wanderers' home form has been really, really good this season. They've lost 2 games at home. First game of the season at home to Barnhall, 3rd game of the season at home to Dungannon, and unbeaten at home since then. They're coming into the playoffs winning close games, and that's to be honest, there's a lot to be said for that as well. If they do get in, winning close games, they go to Dungannon, they go to Barnhall last game, and they've Banbridge at home sandwiched in between it. So they do have a tough run in. it depends, I suppose, what's on the line for Barnhall last game of the season. Are they going for an unbeaten season, or is it meaningless? That'll
Again, the
be an
trophy.
interesting one. Will they get the trophy, or will they get it earlier? Do they always get it last? Like they play Cashel at home next, they might get it.
Are they at home the last game of the season?
Yeah.
I'd say the trophy will be then.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Yeah. So
One
look,
or a
they
few
do
will have
have
to get the
tough
JJ
fixtures.
Kennellys to get it sorted.
In terms of Cashel, I suppose I've been slagging their home form for a while, and then they produced that. To be honest with you, in terms of Banbridge, I've been part of this. When you play Ballymena, you get 2 points. You play Dungannon, close game, 1 point. Crescent, close game, 1 point. And then you play Barnhall, you lose. And it seems to me this game, when you keep losing close ones, it's so heartbreaking. And this might be the last game, might have been the one that broke the camel's back. And I think like it got really ugly really quickly down in Cashel. I was actually checking the score, and I was genuinely, I was there, Jesus Christ, this could be over 80 points, and I don't think anyone wants to see that. But look, well done to Cashel. They've, it's obviously a very important win for them in terms of the bottom end of the table. They've put a nice little cushion between them and Old Crescent. I think you look at that result, Frawley, I know it's mathematically possible, but I can't, I think that's pretty much it for Banbridge now, to be honest.
Yeah, and again, we've been doing this for a long time. Teams have to get relegated; they have to get promoted. I think Banbridge against Shannon. There's more than obviously after a 73-point defeat. There's a pride on the line to get back on the horse. They'll keep fighting. It is mathematically possible, but it is unlikely in terms of getting out of it. But time will tell on that front. So in Division 2A, Barnhall confirmed champions. Dungannon, Shannon, Wanderers currently in the top four. Corinthians hotly on the heels of both Wanderers and Shannon. Just one win or loss could mean the Corinthians slip in there as well. Ballymena 7 points behind, and Cashel and Greystones 9 points ahead of Old Crescent in that relegation playoff, with Banbridge needing to make up 13 plus points to get out of trouble. The games on Saturday, March 21st in Division 2A, Ballymena and Corinthians clash in Eaton Park, Banbridge, Shannon in Rifle Park, Dungannon Wanderers in Stevenson Park, Greystones Old Crescent in Dr. Hickey Park, and Barnhall Cashel in Parsonstown. Master Races Clubs and Game of the Week.
This is an interesting division, actually. I could probably do the same exercise for this as I did for 1B, but we'll leave it off for another week, I think. We'll go with Dungannon Wanderers and then Ballymena Corinthians.
Yeah, these obviously have massive bearings on them. I think 2 very close games, but I think 2 home wins. I think Ballymena and Corinthians, 2 home wins for me. They're Ballymena and Dungannon to both win, but again, Wanderers and Corinthians to bring them to the absolute wire on that one. Mass, who are you taking between Ballymena and Corinthians?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I'm actually going to go with Ballymena. I think it's last chance saloon definitely for them this week. I'm looking at Corinthians, and their away form has not been great by any stretch of the imagination this season. They could correct me if I'm wrong, but I have them only winning 1 away game this season.
Give out your mobile number there, Mass, so they can do that.
And that was away to Crescent in November. I'm pretty sure that's the only away game they've won this season. Ballymena obviously strong at home, so I'm going to go with Ballymena. And then what is it, Dungannon Wanderers? Look, you have to pick Dungannon at home, I think.
Yeah, fair point. Berkey, Ballymena or Corinthians in Eaton Park?
I think Mars is after inspiring them. I'm going to go Corinthians.
Dungannon or Wanderers in Stevenson Park?
Dungannon.
That is our
Come here, Berkey. What hotel have Barnhall booked for their party? Do you know?
The City West is close to Barnhall in Parsonstown, isn't it? Used to.
Yeah, we're turned over, put us up. They're going to put us in the Barnhall Clubhouse.
The K Club is close to Barnhall, isn't it? Oh, no, Carton House, is it?
Surely they have
Just
an
say
old
Carton
function hall
House.
in the university, like.
Yeah, no, Parsonstown is a sensational place to go for a few points. They're currently on the Jersey day 3 rollover in a local bar, so we will find out. We'll let
Oh,
people know on March
It's what a
21st.
week to take off as well, like Cheltenham then as well.
Yeah,
Just take the week off, like.
that is the review and preview of Division 2A. Make sure to enter Ace Clubs before 2:30 on March 21st to be with a chance of winning Cal Apparel. Any sign of that gear, Mass? Moving to Division 2B of the Energia All-Ireland League. Enniscorthy had a brilliant 33 points to 26 win over Buccaneers in Dewberry Park. Clore Valley had an excellent 27 points to 26 win over Sligo in the Cranham 5 Mile Town to step one step closer to a home semi-final playoff. Galwegians were crowned Division 2B champions and will play their rugby in Division 2A after a resounding 40 points to 15 win on the road in Gibson Park against Malone. And Rainey re-entered the fray of the top 4 with a 26 points to 24 win over UL Bohemians in Hattrick Park. Skerries got back to winning ways with a 20 points to 17 win over Navan in home Patrick. Moss, we said it at the top of the pod that there was plenty of movement across the divisions. We will start with Galwegians in a standalone as we did with Barnhall, 40 points to 15 win over Malone. Cameron Mackay, Dara Gaskin, Michael Crothers, the try scores for Malone. Callum Elwood, Keane Brady, Dylan Keane, Rob Deasy, Liam Angerman and Oisin McKee, the try scores for Brendan Guilfoyle's Charges. 21 points nil at half time. Played 15, won 15, 13 try bonus points, 73 points on the board. They will play in Division 2A. They will not be part of the newly restructured 2026-2027 season, Division 2B North and South. But they have been by far and away the best team in Division 2B, and they get their just reward.
Yeah, and look, we talked about Barnhall and them being the dominant team in the division. Well, Galwegians probably even more dominant in this division than Barnhall were in 2A. From the get-go, really, they were miles above everyone else. You look at their points difference, 347. They're winning the 15 games on average, winning the 15 games on average by 25 points. I think that probably, and that's with them not taking their foot off the gas, but a few closer games in the last couple of weeks. I think that probably says it all about their dominance in the league this season. And look, we know Berkey loves AIL nostalgia, and to have Galwegians, I suppose, back in 2A, which won't be regionalised, is probably a good thing for the league as a whole, I would have thought.
Yeah, indeed. And well done to all in Galwegians. I did see plenty on social media with Alicadoos and with coaches and whatnot that they were on the res on the bus on a lovely spring afternoon in Malone. The journey from Malone, Gibson Park to Galway may have had multiple stops on it, and who knows what time they get out of Crawley Park, and hopefully they're day 2 and they're into day 3 as well. But Galwegians will play their rugby in Division 2A next season. The loss for Malone means they slip to 6th on 38 points. They're 5 points behind Rainey. Moss will take the next 2 games. Rainey had a massive 26 points to 24 win over UL Bohemian in Hattrick Park. Andrew Nevin, Michael McCusker, the try scorers, Scott McLean with 2 conversions and 4 penalties. Oisin Fagan with a hat-trick for UL Bows, and Tora Galvin mean that Simon Malone's men pick up 2 match points there, and they're 4 points behind Clore Valley, who were 27 points to 26 winners over Sligo in the Cranham 5 Mile Town. Clore Valley try scores David Stinson, Tane Hare, Aaron Dunwoody and Kyle Cobain, meaning that they pick up 5 points. David Maxwell with 2 conversions and a penalty. Matthew Early a penalty try. Kuba Wojcic and Mark McGlynn, the try scores for Sligo, 2 match points for them. They move to 5th on 39 points. Rainey into 4th on 43 points. UL Bows in 3rd on 53, Clore Valley on 57. Looks like Clore Valley will have a home semi-final after UL Bows defeat, but what a pair of balls from Rainey. And again, Sligo, not many would have fancied them. I did in Ace of Clubs to go to Clore Valley and turn them over, but huge movement, and it is going to be very interesting in the final 3 games based on how Clore, UL Bows, Rainey and Sligo went. Malone still in with a shout as well, but obviously that heavy defeat, not picking up anything against Galwegians on Saturday, could cost them. But still, we do love a good playoff race, and we're certainly going to get it in Division 2B.
Yeah, Jesus, you're calling that home semi-final early. I look at Clore Valley and their last 3 games are away to Galwegians, away to Malone and home to Rainey. So that is as tough as it's going to get for Clorvally. But what a win it was for them. It was a kick last play of the game. That sealed the deal. They had the 4 tries before that. They were behind for large portions of it. And then I think was it Dave Maxwell there out half kicked their penalty about 2 minutes into injury time to pick up maximum points for Clore. And like you said, keep Bowes at arm's length for the time being in terms of that home semi-final. Absolute sickener for Sligo as well. They've been very close 2 of the last 3 weeks, obviously up in Gibson Park against Malone as well, picked up 2 points there against Clorvally, away to Clorvally on Saturday as well. I suppose if you said you're picking up 4 points from your last 2 away games, you go, oh Jesus, that's not too bad, but it hurts them because they have actually lost both games against teams in or around them. So it'll be interesting to see how they regroup after losing 4 in a row, effectively, is what they've done. In terms of Bowes, never got off the bus, 24-0 down or 23-0 down after about 35 minutes.
Last time I ever backed them.
Yeah.
They drove the night before as well. So
they drove the night before, so yeah.
Why can't you just do things normally?
So it's not as if that they did travel up on the morning, so it was kind of strange, I suppose, to see him get off that slow start. I know Rainey had 2 yellows and a red card as well.
They're calling Simon Malone out, is it?
No, I say it's just
you're essentially calling him out, that's what's happening here.
Look,
and I think it's only fair that we give Simon the opportunity to respond to your derogatory comments.
It wouldn't have happened if they got a bus. That's all.
God, we've moved swiftly on from Wesley having the hotel booked to now. Case.
Simon, if you feel like you want to come on and plead your side of the case against Mars, is a horrendous attack on you. Feel free to do so.
No, but look, it was very disappointing. They made a comeback. They probably, all things considered, with them being down to 10 men, 10 men, not soccer at all, down to 14 men and having the 2 yellows as well. I suppose you just absolutely fuming at that start, aren't you? It was a good second half for Bowes, but just not enough, unfortunately. I said it last week, Frauds. I look at Bowes' running and Clorvally's running. Bowes have Bucks at home, Skerries away, and Navan at home. I still fancy them to get that home semi-final.
Yeah, well, time will tell. I thought, I knew Rainey were going to be difficult, but if you want to get promoted, those are the kind of games you need to
it's hard to win up north as well. It is, regardless of what you do. I know we're slagging here, saying they drove up the night before. Then we also say about going up on the day. You hear Willie there talk about $7,000 to a club. It's hard to know what to do. Well, I suppose the easiest thing is go up and down on the day for club, if that's what the club are going to want you to do. But then you go up the night before, you try and save a bit of cost by driving, and you don't turn up. It's just such an awkward one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Morris firmly in favour of the restructuring in Division 2B and 2C. Buccaneers and Enniscorthy and Skerries Navan. Enniscorthy were 33 points to 26 winners over Buccaneers. That's 2 wins on the bounce for Enniscorthy in Dewberry Park. Rourke O'Sullivan, Ross Murphy, Sweeney with a brace, and Ryan O'Mara the try scores for Bucks. Ivan Jacob, Fiacre Hurahan, Scott O'Connor, James Doyle, Lee Tracy bagging tries for Enniscorthy, which means that they got 5 match points. They do sit bottom, no relegation, as we said, with the restructuring, but 2 welcome wins for Enniscorthy in the last 2 rounds. And they're 2 points behind Navan, who were beaten 20 points to 17 away to Skerries. Peter O'Neill, with 2 tries. Jack Litchfield with 2 conversions and 2 penalties. Mark Cohen and Kit Waddington and Fionn Craig, the try scores for Navan. Moss, we did speak, and it has become a bit of a recurring theme in relation to Buccaneers.
Well done to all those clubs. Well done.
Yeah,
Let's go.
To them, but just to Enniscorthy on that as well.
No, fair play, in fairness.
They were in a bit of a rut there, and we spoke about Buccaneers getting the monkey off the back, having a torrid season last year. Skerries went through a difficult patch. They get a win as well, and Navan have done very well as well in portions of this season. But 3 games to go, and they will know their fate with where they are in Division 2B North and South. But 2 competitive games, 2017 and 33-26. So fans like getting entertainment for a tenner.
Yeah, no. 2 very competitive games. Good win for Enniscorthy. Like you said, it was looking pretty bleak for them, but to pick up 2 bonus point wins in a row and just close that table up, is good. It'll be interesting to see if any of these clubs. It wouldn't shock you, would it, if one of them, or one of the 4 clubs down the bottom, just pulled off an upset in the running just to throw the spanner in the works for the
So mad to
playoffs.
say that you reckon Bowes will turn teams over when they're playing the 3 teams, and then say that one of them will win. But
No,
I do.
they
I,
won't. They won't.
I,
Both will win all those 3 games. They will.
Yes, on this Monday evening, Morris Hartree has just reclined back onto his lovely couch that he got in Easy Living.
IKEA.
IKEA, lovely. Did it
I
come
think
assembled?
5 minutes pound did it. I care what
Right.
Morris said.
It's a bed. It's a bed as well. Like it comes out to a bed.
That's
I bought
the
it
bed.
when I was in Northampton for when people
That's
came over. Like
That's the bed. That's the bed that you'll be forced to go on when you come home, absolutely tanked from Browns after going up for 2 points for Cheltenham during the week.
that's a fact. Yeah.
That is our review of Division 2B of the Energia All Ireland League. The fixtures Saturday, March 21st. Enniscorthy welcomes Skerries to the sunny southeast in Alcast Park. Galwegians, Clore Valley in Crowley Park. Navan Malone in Ballery Gold. Sligo Rainey in Hamilton Park. And UL Bows welcome Buccaneers to the UL 4G. All 2:30 p.m. kickoffs. Moss, our ace of clubs and game of the week, please.
Game of the week is Sligo Rainey, and our second game is Navan Malone. Let's see if we can get an upset there.
Sligo Rainey. Rainey with a big win against UL Bows. Sligo pipped in Clore. I think Sligo will be favourites there to get back into the top 4 against Rainey, but take nothing away from them. What was the other game, Moss?
Navan versus Malone.
Yeah, going to be an interesting one. I think Malone have a lot more to play for there. Navan in their centenary year only have 2 games left in Ballery before the restructuring takes place, with Malone to be favourites in that one. But again, depending on the gap, Navan could win, but Malone slight favourites for me. Who are you taking there, Moss, between Navan and Malone?
I'm actually going to pick Navan, I think, to beat Malone. Like you said, I think I alluded to it there. I think it's, their centenary year. They've won 2 of the last 3 home games. I think there's a bit of pride there to try and win as many home games as they can in that year. I'm going to pick them to do that. And I'm actually going to pick Sligo at home as well to beat Rainey.
Yeah, Berkey, Navan or Malone?
Apologies, I was on mute. Navan.
And Sligo or Rainey?
Sligo at home, is it?
Sligo at home in Hamilton Park, yeah.
Sligo.
That is a review and preview of Division 2B of the Energia All Ireland League. Plenty of rugby to be played, so make sure you enter ACE clubs on time. Moving to Division 2C of the Energia All Ireland League, the results from round 15. Ballyclare had a stunning 34 points to 19 win on the road in Bruff in Kilballyowen Park. Clonmel had a huge 66 points to 14 win over Belfast Harlequins in Ardguiha. Middleton were beaten 20 points to 17 at home by Dolphin in the Cork Derby in Towns Park. Bective Rangers got their first win on grass. There was a lot of expletives thrown towards Morris Hartree in a text I received earlier, but 28 points to 21. They were winners over Monkstown in Sydney Parade, and Thomond back to winning ways and firmly in the playoff hunt. 34 points to 24 winners over Malahide, excuse me. Moss Division 2C at both ends of the table is going to be very, very interesting. We will take the top to start off. It did impact the bottom. Clonmel 66 points to 14 win over Belfast Harlequins mean they sit top of the table. Bective Rangers win away from home on grass against Monkstown means that they are 4 points behind Clonmel. Monkstown scorers Cian O'Donoghue, Conor Lone and Dave Cave. Bective Rangers try scores through Chris Rowland, Dave McPolan, Chris Hennessy and Gavin Kelly, meaning they get a bonus point win on the road. Clonmel, Michael Conlon with a brace, as did Freddie Davies, Luke Hogan, Ben O'Dwyer, Joey O'Connor, Jason Manua, Zach Callahan and Dave Coyne. Joey O'Connor kicking 8 conversions, Stephen Weir and Aidan Keller with 2 tries, with a try each, 2 tries in total for Belfast Harlequins. Moss Belfast Harlequins are now 6 points adrift of Middleton after their defeat to Dolphin, which we'll get to in a second. Bective with their first win on grass since becoming a senior club. Monkstown dropped to fourth, 3 points behind, 3 points ahead of Dolphin, but huge wins for Bective and Clonmel, who sit 1 and 2. Belfast Harlequins, excuse me. A little bit of work to do to get out of the playoff, and they are 7 points ahead of Malahide in 10th. Very tense finish in store for 2C with 3 games to go.
Yeah, I mean, if we take the two teams at the top, I think Clonmel and Bective, their form over the last couple of months, they've been the two best sides in 2C over the last couple of months. Clonmel have won four bonus point wins on the bounce. They look to be playing their best rugby at the best time of the year to play your best rugby, and probably the same has to be said of Bective. I know I've been slagging Chuck all year about them not winning on grass. Amongst home form has been really good. So to go to Sydney Parade and pick up a bonus point win is a real statement ahead of the playoffs, I think, for Bective. If you delete that aberration last week away to Ballyclare, they've got 4 bonus point wins in the last 5, including the Ballyclare last week. So I think those two teams, probably the two form teams in 2C at the moment. Just suppose a shout out there. I think Monkstown, you got the same text as I did, Fralls.
Yeah.
150 people at the lunch. That's great to see. The lads talking about the restructuring a local derby. You have 150 there at the lunch, the pre-match. A great game of rugby, and that's what the league is all about, I suppose. Down at the bottom, look, I suppose the less said about it, the better in terms of Belfast Harlequins. Without being disrespectful, their away form, I know they won in Malahide, I think, in the second game of the season, but their away form has been nothing short of absolutely dreadful. The amount of points they're shipping on the road is unbelievable. So I think, that result wouldn't have been a surprise to anyone. Maybe the manner of it was. It was similar to the match against Banbridge. I was watching the score there and any score, and I was saying, Jesus Christ, don't let this get too out of control as well. And it did calm down a bit because Clonmel were up big really quickly. In terms of Middleton, the Cork Derby, and Dolphin, that was a big win for Dolphin. For us.
Huge, yeah. Hunter Yarrell, Darrell Buckley, Matt Barry, the try scores, JB Dutoy and Jack Colbert for Middleton. But what it does, Moss, is like Monkstown's loss to Bective means that Dolphin have closed the gap by 3 points. Middleton pick up a losing bonus point. They are 6 points ahead of Belfast Harlequins. That singular point could have a huge bearing on it. Thomond winning 34-24 against Malahide. Colin Slater, Sam Biran, Jamie McGarry with a brace, and Jason Coyley, meaning Thomond pick up 5 points. Shane Rogers with 2 tries for Malahide, and Sam Lindeman with a third one means Malahide don't pick up anything on the road. They are on 16 points. They are 7 points behind Belfast Harlequins. In terms of the games, Moss having a bearing at the top and the bottom, Thomond back to winning ways. There's obviously that 4 places up for grabs, but the narrowest 3-point winning margin for Dolphin and the 10 points for Thomond Malahide, it's huge in the context of the season.
Yeah, it's absolutely massive. Look, I've been saying all season that I thought Dolphin were a good side when I saw them, and they're right back in the mix for top 4. And I'm telling you now, if they get into top 4, they're going to be very dangerous. They have 4 wins in the last 5 games. Their only loss is coming away to Bective, where they picked up a point. They seem to be playing their best rugby of the season. At this stage of the season as well. And they're going to have a lot to say because they host home in next round, and then they go away to Clonmel as well. So it'll be interesting to see, where they end up. You compare that to Monkstown, who are, how many points are Monkstown ahead of them now in this race? They're 3, yeah. So Monkstown go to Belfast Harlequins, have Brough at home and Malahide away. Now, you'd have to say on bare form, you look at that, you'd say Monkstown are in the driving seat, and they are in the driving seat anyway because they're 3 points ahead. But that chase is going to come down to the wire, I think. In terms of the bottom of the table with Middleton, that point, like you said, has put 6 points between them, and we know the difference of having that extra point. That it's just over a win psychologically is absolutely huge over Belfast Harlequins. Needless, also obviously with the score lines that we've seen from Belfast Harlequins, the points difference is massive as well. So technically they're actually probably 7 points ahead of Belfast Harlequins with the points difference. And down the bottom, Malahide, I'm going to say this now, and people might take this the wrong way, but I thought Malahide were fairly hard done by on Saturday not to get anything from the game. I think they deserved at least a point. Now, I will say that Thomond killed themselves at times with stupid mistakes, but the one thing I could not accuse Malahide of was a lack of fight.
Yeah.
By fucking God, did they put their bodies on the line? And obviously, in the position they're in, the season hasn't gone well for them. But there was 20 people involved in that team, and the coaches on the sideline on Saturday, and they put their bodies and their heart and soul into that match, and to not come away with a point at a minimum, was very unfortunate for them. It was more than they deserved, I thought.
Yeah, there is a seismic 240 minutes of rugby left right across division, across all the divisions, but in 2C, the meeting of Belfast Harlequins and Malahide in round 17 will have a huge bearing on who goes to junior rugby and who is in a relegation playoff. And as a guy, as Morris has been there, I've been relegated plenty of times, and we wish the very best of luck to all those teams. Ballyclare had a 34 points to 19 win over Bruff in Kilballyowen Park. Shane Duggan, Clem McAuliffe and Victor Vilchuk's the try scores for Andy O'Byrne's men. Paul Collins kicking 2 conversions. Jacob Scarlett with a brace. Grant Bartley and Luke McElrath with the tries for Mike Orchard McKeever's men. Ruben Moxham kicked 3 conversions. James Creighton kicked 1 and Ruben Moxham kicking 2 penalties. Ballyclare led 17 points to 0 at half time. As they drove down the night before, and they were certainly out of the cars on time. I know we were slagging about Division 2E, but huge credit must go to Ballyclare. Difficult start to the season, a lot of injuries, not a lot of results going their way. They've steadied the ship. They're on 37 points. It looks like they'll be safe from any relegation playoff. They're not too far away from the playoffs, but both themselves and Bruff with that win look like they won't be too far, one place up or down maybe on those sides. But Ballyclare, full value for the win, and they'll go into the break happy. Bruff, 2 defeats in a row, very tough couple of weeks for them, all told. But Ballyclare, full value for that win, Moss, and it looks like they will be in 2B North next year, and they've really steadied that ship, as I said.
Yeah, tough couple of weeks for Bruff. Look, as a club, the results, like they're safe from relegation. I don't think anything that, there's bigger things going on in that club than a few ultimately meaningless games in the AIL, if being realistic. Ballyclare would want to chill out, though, is what I would say, because all of a sudden things have started clicking for them, and they have to come down to Thomond in round 17, and I don't want them coming down full of confidence or anything like that. So, just pump the brakes a small bit there. But look, Ballyclare playing, it's amazing what one half of rugby does for you against Bective. They look down and out, 35-0 down, and they start throwing the ball around, and a few things click. They come back and win it, and they go down to Bruff and throw the ball around and pick up a bonus point down there. It's incredible, really, how quickly momentum can turn in sport in any sport at any level. So it'll be interesting to see how they go now for the rest of the year, playing with the shackles off, because they're, like you said, in the same position as Bruff. They're not going to go down. They're probably not going to challenge for the playoffs. So the pressure is off.
Indeed, it is. That is a review of Division 2C of the Energia All-Ireland League. The fixtures, round 16 on March 21st, see Bective Rangers welcome Bruff to Energia Park, Belfast Harlequins, Monkstown and Derrimore Park, Dolphin Thomond Virgin Media Park, Malahide Clonmel in Estuary Road, and Ballyclare Middleton in the Clocken in Yeah, the clock in, excuse me. Master Race of Clubs and Game of the Week.
Our ace of clubs is Malahide Clonmel, and I've picked Dolphin Thomond actually as the second game.
Oh, yeah, Dolphin Thomond could go either way. I think Thomond winning 34-24. I think Dolphin may be slight favourites for that one to potentially get into the playoffs. Malahide and Clonmel, yeah, it's Clonmel coming off the back of an absolute mauling of Belfast Harlequins have to go to Malahide. I think this will be a lot closer.
Can I just make a point going forward? Like, let's not include any of the bottom 2 or 3 in these games.
Yeah, no, fair point. Fair point, Morris, you bastard. So,
well, when the Bonanza starts next week, I'll pick all the meaningful matches, Berkey. So,
yeah, it will be interesting to see how that goes. But I'll reserve judgment on that until
we just won't call it. So
we're picking those. Yeah, Dolphin or Thomond, Berkey.
Thomond.
Moss, Dolphin or Thomond?
I'll say a draw.
Draw. On that front, that is our review and preview of Division 2C of the Energia AIL League. Make sure to enter our race of clubs. We are recording a week early, as this gives us ample opportunity to wish the big man the very best of luck for PBC in the Munster School Senior Cup final on Wednesday, March 18th. So yes, Berkey, best of luck in that game. If you are at games,
best of luck, Berkey.
If you are at games,
thank you very much, gentlemen. I appreciate that.
If you are at games on the 21st, X and Instagram us photos, points after results, tries, bus journeys, and use the hashtag Energia AIL. Ladies and gents, that is a wrap for season 8, episode 16. Many thanks to my co-hosts Moss and Berkey, to Garryowen, Shane O'Brien, and Willie Staunton, and of course to you, the listeners. I've been Darragh Frawley. We've been the Club Scene Podcast, powered by Energia. Enjoy St. Patrick's Day weekend.
Left will be the lion's share.